I kind of wanted to talk about this, but I feel like a problem I have with the game right now that I've played it a little bit more, and I'm starting to see problems. Despite me saying, oh, it's pretty balanced, I'm kind of treading back on it. I still think it's balanced, but for the wrong reasons.
Like,
I think the game is too accessible right now. Like, a lot of the good weapons in the game are literally super easy. You can learn it in about an hour, and you'll be completely competent.
yeah, and a lot of like the not so great weapons take like
Yeah, they're pretty hard. They have a learning curve to
really
them.
long.
And it made me realize this yesterday because when I played X-Splash against Deep Blues, I didn't do exceptional or anything. I did just borderline average, but I literally played it for the first time in like 2 months for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, but you also have to be like somewhat decent at the game, though.
Yeah, but I still think
Yes.
X-Splash as a backliner is so much easier than other weapons.
Yeah, but I just mean like in general. Like in order to at least even be able to learn a weapon, you just have to be like somewhat decent at the game. But if you're decent, yeah, you can learn stuff. Like you can learn some of these weapons in like half an hour.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like I think the game is too accessible right now. Like a lot of the weapons are pretty easy. Like dualies, I think, are the hardest top tier weapon to learn. But even then, you can just get by with just farming baller all game. That's it. That's all you really need to do, really.
Yeah.
So
Machine is by far the easiest top tier to learn though. Machine or like K-Pro.
yeah.
One of those two. Those are like the easiest top tiers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I need to go back to what I was doing. Right. Aha.
Yeah, not to bash people, but these weapons are pretty easy, and I think honestly, if you just run a comp with meta weapons, you can do really, really well in NA, despite what your experience may be. Because these things are just damn good and easy to play, honestly. It's a little weird that they take not too much effort, but you get a lot of profit out of them. Yeah, that machine literally could not do anything. I mean, not machine, mini. I'm sorry.
I mean, you killed the mini. So I'm surprised there are 2 minis. That's the most I think I've ever seen in a game ever.
And they're vanilla minis. Ooh.
Yeah. I only ever see like Simi and like Kimmy. But that's like a 1 in like 1,000 chance to even see those.
Kimmy.
Yeah, that's what I call her.
I know that's what people call it, but it still sounds funny.
I don't want to be here right now. Except this weapon's broken, so whatever. Doesn't matter. I can be at disadvantage and I'll be fine. Most of the time.
Most of the time, indeed. Thank you, Ilias_meow for the follow. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Bye,
That
Mini.
poor man. So sad. Goodbye, Pro. What is that hitbox? That's so dumb. I hate that. Disgusting. I literally just shot him through a corner. Over a wall. The direct hitbox is also huge. Also, don't follow me.
Try not to.
Oh, I meant to throw that over the bait, or whatever. They don't know I'm here, Pika. Going in. Eh. Almost. A missile killed him. I like how we both fizzied the shield and it just broke.
Where's the... Oh, he's dead. I was like, where's the last dude?
Yeah, I just...
Do I have a Discord server? Yes and no. I say that because it's just a server, so I can get people to play scrims with, and I only want people who are at least like rank X or something like that.
And people who will actually like play.
Yeah. That's it. So yes and no. Because the last thing I want to do is like in Splatoon 1 you play Squid Coliseum and then you get like a C rank on your team and it's like okay. No offense, but like when you're trying to have serious practice against another team, like you know they're all comp players and you have 2 randos and then 1 C rank, it's like.
Yeah, I understand. You just have a C rank, you know. I hate it when I get C ranks on my team, you know. Actually, I don't need to open this now. I can do all this later, but at least I have it. I'll keep the bar.
Not that that's stopping anyone from joining, because I literally just have it on my Twitter. I just would rather that people join if
who will actually like play and
yeah,
who are preferably rank X.
Preferably rank X, yeah.
Ow! Did you hear that?
Yeah.
That hurt. I swear, I always find the weirdest IGNs.
Did I ever tell you about that? Squid
Okay.
Coliseum when it wasn't private?
I was in it, but I never played in it. But
Okay, because like, in Splatoon 1 it started as a private server, and then
it went public.
it went public, and the idea was that it was fine because all the competitive players would have their own like Squid Coliseum chat, and then you know all of the more casual-oriented players would have their own. But the problem was that Squid Coli was already kind of inactive, and so when people saw that, hey, the casual side was way more active, that you started having a mix of comp players and like B ranks, and people started to complain, and that's why that server got nuked, and then they just remade it private again for Splatoon 2.
And now like, and then it was private, and now it's like private, and then now it's inactive again. So I mean, everybody's got scrims to play and like teams to play with most of the time, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's understandable why it's inactive. It's like all the people in there are on.
I'm kind of noticing that too. Like pickups just not a thing anymore. Mostly because everybody who would play pickups is in +1, and I'm not in +1 anymore. So
yeah, anymore. Used to be.
Yeah. So actually finding people to play the game is like surprisingly tough. I thought yesterday I tried and I thought, okay, it's just Monday and Mondays are usually dead anyway, so it's not a big deal.
Oh yeah, were you not able to find anybody yesterday?
No, I didn't find anybody at all. Jack was like, I'll play. But right. Jack was the only person and I felt bad.
Now Leaf's the only person besides me, but
yeah.
So yeah, +1. May as well say it on stream, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's where you get most of the activity. That's where Loki finds her scrims and stuff. So it's like, yeah, understandable.
In +1, yeah.
But like I said, I expressed my frustration before because it's like it's hard to find quality games now, for me anyway.
For pretty much anybody.
Yeah, for anybody really, for that matter.
I honestly have no idea how my team like finds scrims so often. So it's like, what do you do?
Like you
what
really just need to
have?
find a group of people and get them in a server and just make your own like scrim circle. That's the only way nowadays. Before you can ping and like Ludi and get a scrim like pretty consistently. Nowadays it's like
now it's like you can ping and Ludi, wait like 15 minutes, and then somebody might DM you if they're still looking. Possibly, it's a chance.
I don't know what happened because people love to correct me and tell me, no, the community's not dying. There's more and more people signing up for BNS, but it feels deader than usual.
Yeah, but nobody signs up for Ludi, so like everybody hates Ludi because it's kind of badly run. And I mean, they're not wrong. It kind of is, but
Yeah, it got worse with time because
I
for
mean,
whatever
kinda
reason
like-
they decided not to use the seating council from last season because they wanted to prevent bias or whatever, and then we saw how that turned out.
yeah, and then it just made more bias.
So
It basically just made even more bias. So, like, like apparently somebody told me that like season 1 at like the very start of spot 1, they told me like the seating council and like the staff were like, oh, not that great.
yeah, season 1 of Ludi was rocky, but it was the first season. Granted.
Yeah. And then it just kind of got better, and then when we got to Splat 2, it got kind of worse again.
Yeah, it got worse again. But, yeah, I mean, Ludi was a new thing. People were still figuring out how tournaments work. Inker Sync took like a month to finish. Did you ever hear about Inker Sync?
I didn't.
It was one of the first Splatoon tournaments ever, and it took about a month to complete.
Wow. Like I said.
And it was only like 8 teams.
Yeah. I was only casual spot 1. I got into it at the end, and that's kind of how I ended up joining like the really dead Squid Color server, and like a bunch of other things. It was like in the months they had already announced Splat 2, and that like everybody was like just waiting for it to come out already, and that's when I kind of got into things.
And I guess for people
I
who
never
watch
actually did,
fairly regularly, you might notice that I kind of been a little bit more negative, and I guess toxic with my opinions, and that's because I'm slowly starting to get more empathetic with the community, simply because I feel like we're not going anywhere. We're not getting anywhere.
Like everybody's trying to be positive and say that we're going places, but no, not really.
Yeah, like, I've always said this, but I still think BNS is being more of a detriment to the community than a help. I still think a lot of top players. I think what pissed me off today is Dude and him complaining about stream sniping, and it's just solo queue.
Like Jesus.
Okay, yeah, like I can understand
gonna
like
happen.
why people would get upset, but I mean, if for one it's solo, and for two he was only like around 2400. He wasn't gonna get on the leaderboard anytime soon anyway.
Like-
so
Like Pika, I tried to stream. Oh fuck.
Stream
I tried
snipe.
to, yeah, I try to stream snipe you sometimes whenever I'm bored and I have nothing else to do.
but I still
I
think
mean,
he
half
overreacted.
the time you
for-
don't realize, but
yeah.
whatever.
I
Yeah,
think he
but
overreacted
he really
for something.
overreacted that.
Not being toxic, I'm being honest. I guess that's true. Maybe that's why nobody plays with me, because I'm always too honest. Feels bad, man. But
I play with you, gosh.
I'm getting tired of everyone's bullshit, frankly.
Yeah, I can imagine. I'm tired of my own bullshit. I don't know why.
But as I always said this, I don't hate on the game and the community because I just want to be toxic. I hate on it because it's like, I think there's so much potential and I wish this game was more successful than it is. And it just
like,
irks me.
actually wanna get
It just irks me that we have people who really don't try to help at all.
Yeah, and it's like people who are like somewhat known as like the faces.
Yeah, the faces of the community, and another thing that bothers me is that these people think they're helping, but they're not.
No.
One of those people's Dude.
Yeah, that's exactly what I
Like,
said.
Dude is a fantastic content creator and stuff, but I don't think he helps the community at all. I think it's more of his own thing rather than helping the community grow.
I mean, he tries, but I honestly don't think it works.
Yeah.
now
And that's
that we've said
mostly,
that on video,
I have
we're
that
gonna get,
opinion
like,
mostly
crucified,
because
but-
I don't see him compete as a player. I see him more make content as a streamer.
Yeah. See, it's like now that we said that on stream where it's video, we're gonna get like crucified for that.
Just kidding.
Like,
But I mean, understandably, you're better off being a content creator than a player in this community, just simply because it's just a lot better off. Like, that's why Zero makes content for Smash Ultimate, because it's just way better than actually playing the game and, you know, competing in tournaments to make a living.
yeah, because he makes more content creating
Yeah.
than he would actually playing the game.
But I think there's a difference because Zero watches tournament VODs on stream, he does analysis, he does guides, like he does it pretty regularly, pretty often. Dude makes like a map guide series, right? He uploads one map guide a month. And by the time the next one comes out, it's like the game's changed so much, it's like, what's the point? I get it takes a lot of time, but...
And it's also like the thing where, like tournaments like BNS, the only reason so many people play in them is because they have a prize pool.
Yeah, prize pool.
And because they know that a lot of teams will enter it, so they use it for practice. And I mean, yeah, I get that, but the thing is with BNS is it's too long. And I mean, I guess they moved it to a better day now, but it's still bad timing really for like EU and JP, because EU, they stay up until fucking 5 in the morning. And that's until for groups. That's for groups. If an EU team gets top cut, they're just kind of screwed. They're up all night.
Yeah, and that's another thing that kind of irks me too, is that before the community was perfectly fine playing tournaments with no prize money.
Yeah, and now people, like a lot of like teams will only enter tourneys.
Yeah, I always talk about this, but when the Splatoon Anniversary Invitational Tournament was happening, I think that time was like peak Splatoon, honestly. We got probably the most amount of signups back-to-back in tournaments. It was a really hype event. Like, one of the qualifying tournaments was Supernova 2, and it got like 96 teams.
Yeah.
Which is unheard of by today's standards, besides like a Nintendo tournament. And that's not a Nintendo tournament, that's a community-run tournament.
Yeah, or like BNS on good days. Like, I think the highest it's gotten is like 80.
Yeah.
But like I said before, it's because of the prize money.
Yeah, and going back to that, Supernova 2 was only a qualifier, it wasn't the main event, and even then Splatoon Anniversary didn't really have a big prize, or even a prize at all, to my knowledge. I think maybe a small money prize, but not even close to what BNS has. But my point is that before, the community was super like chill about playing tournaments without getting prize money.
Yeah,
And now it
like
seems
before,
to be...
now teams, like now, back then, teams played tournaments for the fucking practice. Now it's like they're playing it just because they want to win.
And I also feel like the sense of community was way better back in the day too, because I feel like more established teams had more rivalries than what we do now. I think right now rivalries feel superficial in this game, where before they felt legitimate. Like you had Kairos versus Tomo, and you know, Kairos versus Deep Blues. Like it always felt like, you know, because we played every tournament. Like those teams played like every tournament, and we used to have like 5 tournaments a week. And we play against each other all the time, and it was more about the clout, not about the money.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's better for the game. I think it's better for people to want to compete for the sake of competing and not for monetary purpose.
Yeah.
Especially when we're this small, I don't think there's a reason to...
It's like, Jesus Christ, you're not gonna... It's not like you're winning anything big out of it anyway.
Yeah.
You're winning like $200. You could work in the amount of time that it takes to participate in a BNS, and you could earn more money. I mean, depending on where you work. If you work at like McDonald's, then yeah, probably not, but... You get my point. It's like, if you get first, you're probably gonna get more by actually working that amount of time than you would by, like, just playing in a tournament.
Yeah, and Kairos versus Deep Blues was so much fun, mostly because, like, there's a lot of history behind those teams. Like, I think Red and Taylor played Mario Kart against each other before. And, you know, Red always wanted to kick their ass because he was, you know, such a prideful person.
Yeah.
But it was still cool. And then, like, it extended to the point, like, me and Taylor, I think we were at least good acquaintances during Splatoon 1. I don't really talk to them at all anymore. But, like, in Splatoon 1, when we played Coliseum against each other, like, me and Taylor would squid bag each other all the time as, like, a friendly rivalry kind of thing. I don't really see people do that in this game.
Nobody does that, really.
I don't think people, like, find a person on the other team that they want to bully. Like, I loved bullying Taylor. It was so funny. Because he would bully me back, and then the whole time, every time we would just try to style on each other.
Yeah.
But I never really got that with anybody else. Bless Taylor, honestly.
Yeah, honestly, sometimes I just, like, miss Spot 1. Just, like, a lot.
And I think tournaments would be a hell of a lot more fun to watch if, you know, teams had some, not beef, but felt like they just wanted...
If they had, like, a friendly rivalry.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. That didn't feel, like, superficial. Like, now it's just, like, Oh, Ghost versus Demise. It doesn't really feel like a rivalry. You don't see them interact that much. You don't see them talk about each other that much. It just feels superficial.
People
and
are just like, oh, two top teams playing against each other.
Yeah. To me, that's what it feels like. It doesn't feel quite like a rivalry or any sort of competition. It just feels like two teams playing against each other. And you're probably like, isn't that competition? Well, I don't know. It's just hard to describe.
Like, to me, okay, the way I think about it, with the way you're describing it at least, teams in Splat 1 remind me of, like, who do I want to use for an example? Let's take Gen 3's Pokemon Rival, for example. That's what that reminds me of.
Yeah. That's a perfect example.
While for now, it reminds me of Let's Go's Pokemon Rival.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting from this, and I mean, it's kind of true. I mean, like, that rival just kind of felt unnecessary in a way.
Splat 1 tournaments are so much better. Yeah, I agree. I feel like the sense of competition is so much better.
Yeah.
I think nowadays you don't really feel like teams are competing. It's just teams are playing against each other.
Like, I mean, I watched a few people play in Splat 1, but not many. And, like, that's kind of why I was like, oh, these people are gods, what the hell? And I was like, I'm, like, kind of alright at this game. And then I was like, you know, let's try something. So I just grinded my ass off for a while. Like, God. Way too long. But... And then I was like, yeah, I think I'm ready to, like, go, like, competitive with this. And then I did when, like, Splat 2 came out. And then I played in tournaments. I was like, how do people stand this? What the hell? It's like, I'm pretty sure that, like, one of the first tournaments I played in was, like, one of the first BNSs of Splatoon 2.
Oh.
And oh my god, I was so burnt out afterwards.
Yeah, I feel like accessibility community-wise, I think game-wise, I already talked about this earlier. I think all the meta weapons right now are super easy to play, and anybody can get to the top pretty easily. Relatively speaking, like, it's not easy by any means, but it's easier than it ever was in IMO. But I think community-wise, like, the accessibility is horrendous. Like, where do you find tournaments if you don't know competitive Splatoon exists? Like, there's no YouTube bots, all the Discord servers are, like, private, and nobody advertises on Twitter, nobody retweets for crap. Everything is just advertised in Discord, so people who are not in those Discords don't even know it exists.
Yeah.
So, like, how do you get into the competitive scene? You have, like, I know Dude made that, that competitive guide video thing.
That's a Discord.
That's a Discord, yeah, and then you have to click one of those servers, and then in that server you have to go into another server, and then, like, one of those is Incademy, right? And Incademy is a good way to find tournaments, but that server has so many goddamn channels, it's just a nightmare to navigate and to find what you actually want.
So many, like, not gonna lie, kind of stupid people in there.
Yeah, there's a lot of stupid people in there, and that's because there's a lack of moderation from top players like there's supposed to be. I mean, people have roles to be counselors and to advise people and guide them onto their correct path, but nobody gives a shit, so... Then that's how you get false information, and then that's why people believe things that aren't necessarily true.
I mean, like, the weapon counselors I feel are fine, but, like, some of the actual mods, they don't really do much. But, like, a lot of the counselors, I feel like they do their jobs.
Like, I'm in Academy, and I have everything muted. Every single channel muted, except for two. One is post your videos, just in case someone posts something I think would be cool to watch. Like, if someone makes an analysis of a tournament or whatever. And then Charger Chat. But even then, I don't even, like, use Charger Chat seriously. I just kind of look at it and just facepalm every time.
Me too.
Because...
Like, I'll look in there sometimes, but I have everything muted. I'll just look in there if I'm bored and I have nothing else
because
to do.
To me, there's like no discussion that ever gets developed in that chat. People talk about the same things for the past few months, the same things, nothing new ever comes up, it's always the same things, people keep arguing about the same things, people keep asking the same questions, it just never goes anywhere. And in the end,
ask the same questions. What do I run on this? What do
what do I run on this? What do I run on this? And then you get like 50 million different answers, and none of them are right.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, oh my gosh. That's why I looked in there. That was one of the other like first servers I joined besides like Squid Hollow, I think. Even though I never played the Hollow, like I said, but that was one of the first ones I joined. And then I just looked in there. I saw the overwhelming amount of stuff in there. I was like, yeah, nope, never mind.
It sounds paradoxical, but Inkademy is an organized mess.
It really is.
Like, everything is categorized properly and stuff, and, you know, it's organized. But it's still a mess. There's just too much stuff there. And so many of the channels are unnecessary, IMO. Like, clean that shit up.
It's true. There's way too much, like, nonsense in there that doesn't need to be there. Then there are people that are always asking for, like, roles and other channels that don't need to be there. Like, the servers for, like, competitive stuff, or, like, people trying to get into competitive, you know? And then there are people over here asking for, like...
We need a Smash Hype channel, okay.
Yeah, like, people asking for, like, a Smash Brothers channel, or, like, an art channel. And I'm like, I'm like, sure, those channels would be neat in a lot of other servers, but this is a server dedicated to one thing. You should stick to that one freaking thing, instead of going with like 10 billion different other channels that don't need to be there. Or at least start merging a few into one type of channel, you know?
Yeah.
How do you not die? Oh my god. Oof.
Okay, let me go into the Academy. They have like a directory hub there. Let me see. Community directory. Okay, you pop into community directory and you see like a list of like 20 different servers, 20 different links.
Yeah.
Some of these are pretty much outdated.
Yeah.
But this is a good start, but I think it's intimidating. Like, you go under competition and there's 20 different server listings, but most of them don't have a purpose most of the time. Like, Endgame TV server, GSM server, Ink TV server, it's like, you don't really need those because nothing really happens in them. You have beginner tournaments, those are nice because they happen weekly, and you know, you can pop into there. But like, I don't know, I just think that this could be done a little bit better. I don't know. I'm not
yeah,
like
at least they should update this. Like, Young Ink doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah, Young Ink doesn't happen anymore for sure.
Squid Hollow is like the deleted server. Like, I don't get it. Like, they updated it like recently to where it says BNS happens every Friday.
Yeah.
So why couldn't they take out the things that don't exist? Like, Young Ink's been dead for like a while now. Like, Young Ink just doesn't happen anymore. They just kind of stopped. And it's been like that since Nier's like Splat 2's release. And we're like a year and a half in, they announce BNS happening on Fridays. They update that, but not that? Like, I get there are others, but Jesus. Like, if
again,
you're
they probably don't know. Like I said, advertising and just news in general just never gets to where it's supposed to go in this community because people don't share for anything.
I mean, they didn't even say that Young Ink was like dead. Like, they said in the last one, I think it was like Young Ink 7 or 8. It was like they said when when signups opened for that one that was going to be the last one, and then nothing else was said about it. That was it, and it was only in the Discord, which only like people who were playing in the tournament
would know.
Ever looked at.
Yeah.
And like the staff, I guess, but they didn't say anything about it. So it's just like, yeah, information just gets either not spread at all or spread, but like misspread, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's been an hour. I'm just gonna drop the whole Scrim idea. I don't think we're gonna get anybody.
I'm also pretty sure like Leaf just kind of ditched.
Yeah, it hasn't been an hour. It's been half an hour. Half an hour.
Half an hour.
It's still kind of an egregious amount of time.
Yeah. NA Scrims, Pika.
NA Scrims, yeah. Let's delete that. I might just highlight this VOD and post it on YouTube. If someone wants to sit to 2 hours of BS, because I think what we talked about is at least relevant and worthwhile.
Yeah.
I don't know.
For once, a conversation that's worthwhile.
I don't know, what else is on my mind about this community? I feel like after PAX East is dead. There's nothing after PAX.
Well, after PAX, there's like Beacon and then SNS, and that's it.
Those are LANs.
Yeah, but I mean, so is the tournament PAX.
I know, but I mean, PAX is big Nintendo tournament, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
like,
LANs are cool and all, but it's like...
I mean, then again,
not very many people go to them. It's still a very small population, and they're hyped and stuff, but like...
I mean, that's because most of the community is like 14, and
yeah,
parents won't let them. Like me, for example, with this SNS, but I can go to next year's if the community is even still alive by then. Which honestly, I have no clue if it will be or not.
I still feel like I know people still complain about online tournaments, but what happened to them? I think online tournaments should get a priority. Like, LANs are cool and stuff, but I think online tournaments need a priority because they're the most accessible, and that's what we need. We need people playing the damn game first. We don't need people going to events and stuff.
Yeah, but then you have everybody complaining about, like, lag and shit.
Oh, yeah, but if you actually have confident TOs...
Yeah, it's true, but those
like,
are rare.
Splatoon 1, we had speed tests, and people bitched and whined about speed tests because someone who was clearly lagging spent like 20 minutes trying to fake a speed test. If you were a TO who was worth their medal, you would just be like, okay, you spent more than 3 minutes to do something that takes 20 seconds. Just drop the game or just lose the set. It's not that hard to enforce. Japan in WFB, I know someone from Extermination, because they were Extermination at the time, someone teleported one time. And they got DQ'd from the tournament because they didn't like provide any sort of like speed test or anything within a reasonable amount of time. Like, Japanese TOs don't uphold lag at all. Like, if you teleport one time and someone complains about teleportation and you don't have anything to like back up that you're fine in like 2 minutes, like, you're out.
Yeah,
because it doesn't take that long. You can just open up.
Yeah,
Switch.
but now teams are just like, yeah, you have to show a clip, them lagging, and then we still have to decide from there whether to like give you guys
And
the
I
set.
get,
They
okay,
don't even DQ them. It's just like, yeah, you get the set.
Yeah, you
but
get the
they
set.
still have to play.
Yeah, and I get that Switch speed tests are not indicative of anything because you still have stuff like ping, and that's just the connection your Switch is getting, and it's not like everyone's connection. And then there's just a whole bunch of technical Jabberwocky stuff going on, but I still think it's a good indicator. Like, if you have 0.2 upload speed, like, that's sending like 0.2 megabits per second packets to other people. But
It's not that great.
the reason why I still bitch about it is because I lost a very important set in a very big tournament due to Rainmaker teleporting, and the TOs didn't care. So yeah, I'm still butthurt about it.
Was that in Splat 1?
No, it was Splat 2 actually.
Oh.
And what do you know? It was an Ink TV. It was an SQSS tournament. It was Squidward's one. And
I mean, okay. I'm not gonna lie. Like, the NA TOs are nice, and they're good TOs. They just
they don't really enforce the rules too much.
Yeah, I was gonna say they don't enforce rules. They don't ever really enforce any of the rules unless it's like blatant hacking.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only one I've seen them enforce, and it was only ever with one person. Only one person was stupid enough to do it, but you know what I mean. Like, who's who turned it with hacking? Why?
They're inconsistent because I'm not allowed to really talk about this, but I will say that Endgame TV did something recently that I don't approve of. That's all I'm gonna say, because I think it's not fair to the person who's involved to talk about it. But
if you wouldn't mind just doing that.
But yeah, basically, I think they made a really poor choice when I think it was fine. And they also are the same people. Like, okay, I don't mind saying about this person because it's, you know, he's been exposed, but it took like FM so many incidents for Endgame to be like, oh, this is a problem. But it took this, yeah, it took this person one accusation, not anything proof, just one accusation. That's it, and that's it. That's what prevented them from participating.
With FM, it was like he got like a bunch of tries.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just weird that they're
and instead of enforcing it, they just kind of dealt with it. And then like when they finally actually like snapped and whatever, they were just like, yeah, we've dealt with this for long enough. I'm like, no, you shouldn't have dealt with that for long enough. You should have just fucking banned them on the spot.
Yeah.
Like, if you get accused of doing something like that, just fucking ban them from whatever. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand. Like,
it makes sense to do that instead of dealing with their shit. Like, that just makes more sense to me. Also, I like having conversations about this because I'm just on autopilot.
yeah, same. I'm autopiloting the whole time, and we're just doing pairs. But
yeah. See, at least we're not having this convo during like scrims and stuff. That poor man.
But yeah, I've always had an issue with how NA tournaments were run, and then like, I've ran my fair share of tournaments, and by my fair share I mean like 4.
Yeah.
And every single time I ran a tournament, it ran flawlessly, by the way. Every single time.
I always did want to play in one of them, but never got the opportunity, because my team at the time was very, very dead.
Yeah, because so when I ran Planetoon Cup with Neptune at the time, it was just single. I think it was either, I don't remember. I think it was single limb. I think it was single limb.
Runs only, I think.
Yeah, we got an entire tournament done in 3 hours. Like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
Well, how many teams signed up?
We had like about 10-ish, which is alright, I guess. It wouldn't take that much longer. Probably another hour if we had double the size, like around 20.
Yeah, I mean, I get like why BNS does it, but I feel like they just need to make the team cap smaller.
And here's the thing: it was single limb, so you didn't really have to waste your time.
Yeah, and BNS is groups. I feel like they should.
They have their advantages.
Yeah.
Like groups and bracket have their advantages for sure, but I think groups that big, or at least make more groups. That's what I don't understand. Like, why did they make fat groups and not more groups?
Yeah. I mean, BNS doesn't do groups; they just do Swiss.
Oh, that's that's pretty garble.
They do Swiss until top 8, and then top 8's bracket.
Yeah, that's.
They don't even do groups. It's just Swiss. I'm like, no, this is garbage. Like, I'm not playing 6 rounds of like a Swiss-style tournament. That's not good. Like, that's just gonna burn me out. And if I even get to top 8, which is highly unlikely, like, I'm gonna be so tired and I'm just gonna want to stop playing anyway. Like, I get
Oh yeah,
tired.
and another thing I don't like, another practice I don't like, is them making you play all the games in the set. I get it's for seeding and stuff, but still.
Yeah, and like, the thing is with it, MBNS, it's like, by the time I get to like round 3 or 4, I'm already like burnt out and I already want to stop playing. I'm just like, Jesus, this is too long for its own good. They should make a team cap of like 48 teams in BNS. That makes sense to me. A team cap of 48 teams. And then just have it be like 4 rounds of groups. With like...
Do you wanna,
best of like 3 or 4.
Do you wanna scrim with the one in Arashi?
Sure. Yeah, it should be like best of 3 or 5, team cap 48, so it's only like 4 rounds of groups. That makes sense. To me, at least. that would make it much shorter, like 1 to 2 hours shorter, and that's including top 8.
And here's the thing, Beppo P makes a good point, and this is what I was saying earlier. They make you play all the games so they can see teams later, and that makes logical sense. Like, you know, you would make like this team that 4-0'd everybody, this, you know, that went over, like, no, let's say it was a best of 5. This team that 5-0'd everyone in their group should be like a top seed compared to the team who 3-2'd everyone, right?
Yeah.
Like, I can see why they make you play all 5 games, but I think there is a place for that in a different kind of tournament. I think BNS still caters a lot towards an entertainment / casual side, and I feel like they should prioritize speed over like a factually fair and like super serious tournament style, right? Like, I kind of understand like that kind of tournament style for like a very serious high level tournament like Invitational, but I don't really understand the philosophy for like BNS, a weekly that happens every week.
But the thing is with BNS, if you're going to be playing Ludi, that's probably going to be the tournament that they're going to look at first, because I'm pretty sure that's what, like, back when Netgear was a thing, I'm pretty sure that's what our seeding was based off of, was our BNS results. And honestly, I'm pretty sure it's because you subbed for us. It's why we did so well, and that's why we got placed there. If I'm going to be honest, like, flat out 100% honest, that's my whole 2 cents.
Yeah, because the thing is, top teams, people who would make it to bracket, you know who they are 90% of the time. I think like maybe 1 or 2 teams in BNS top 8 are usually new teams that people are unfamiliar with.
Yeah.
And those top teams, they don't mind playing 5-6 hour tournaments because that's what they do to compete, right? But I don't think you should subjugate people getting into the game for the first time to 5 hours of like Swiss.
Yeah, so, like, oh my god, it gets so tiring. Like, I honestly,
like, I think it's too daunting of an entry for people. Like, can you imagine my first tournament? I have to spend like 4 hours playing like back to back games.
Yeah, and like honestly with BNS, I honestly just, oh my gosh, I did not.
Is there any way BNS can be more EU friendly? They host it on Saturday mornings for PST people. Because Saturday mornings are usually when both EU and NA can play in the same tournaments.
But then again, if they do that, then it won't be JP friendly.
Yeah, it won't be JP friendly, exactly.
That's why I feel like they should host it at a certain UTC date. To where it would be at least like, to where it'd at least be playable for everyone and not at a crazy time for EU like it is for them. Where it lasts all fucking night until like 6 in the morning. Like, that's ridiculous. Because, I mean, I get why they try to cater to like the JP scene and whatever as well. But the thing is, most of them don't speak English, if I'm gonna be honest. While many Europeans do, so it's a lot easier to communicate with them and cater towards them, because JP has their own set of tournaments, while EU has barely any.
Yeah, EU barely has anything. And yeah, Japan's pretty healthy in terms of tournaments, and they have really high tournaments and that are pretty high quality.
I feel like they should try and cater more, like BNS should try to cater more to North America and Europe.
Not that I don't like the Japanese. I think they're really cool. I think they're super friendly. They're really nice. But I think in terms of priorities to growing the scene, I don't think catering to them is going to help us.
Yeah.
It sounds selfish. It sounds selfish, but I mean, I think that's what's...
It sounds selfish, but it's true. Like, it's legitimately true, because they have enough tournaments as it is. They have a functioning community.
And if people want to play against Japanese, play the Japanese tournaments. I've done WFB like a year ago, and that was loads of fun, even though it was at 3 AM my time. You know, if people want that, they can look for it.
Yeah, and like you can enter a European tournament that some JP teams play in as well. Like Sea Scraper, I want to say it's called. I don't know when the time of that is, but I feel like it catered to both.
And of course, every time I talk about tournaments, somebody always brings this up. Why don't you make your own tournament, Pika? That's because I get no signups.
Yeah, you have, and you get like no signups.
Yeah, yeah.
If
like
you
when
do
I
it again,
hosted
I'll
Planetoon
make
Cup,
sure
I
it's in
I posted the server I advertised it every day on my Twitter. I had people post it in as many Discord servers as possible. I would get like 8 to 10 signups.
If you do host another one, I'll make
Yeah.
my team.
So it's like, and that's the thing. And Sendo, I will quote Sendo on this forever because it's such a brilliant quote. Tournaments are like assholes. Everyone has one, but not all of them are entered. So he has a point there. Like, people can host tournaments. Doesn't mean people are gonna enter them.
Like, and he has a set of like a lot of tournaments.
Yeah, and this is going back to the whole people don't want to play tournaments unless there's a prize thing.
Because it's true.
Planetoon Cup had no prize because I'm flat broke.
Me too. Yo, me. That'd be me if I tried to run a tournament.
If I
I'd be
had
like,
money,
no
if
prize,
I had
I'm
like
broke as fuck.
$50 or something, I think I would like double my or triple my entries.
Yeah. At
But
least
because I am literally broke dollar, no one's gonna enter.
broke dollar. That's great, broke dollar. I love that.
let me scrub really quick.
Okay. Oh shit! Yeah, wait. Oh yeah, no. I'm close-ish.
But yeah, I think people have tried hosting their own tournaments and stuff, but like, no prize, no entry.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of which, art prizes. Art prizes used to be really cool, and that was the big prize. Like, people were fine with an art prize. But now we don't really have artists around to do commissions. Like, we have like no people willing to give away art for free. And
Yeah.
that's understandable because these artists need to make money and they need to make a living. Like, it's kind of not, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know how to put this into words, but it's like, it's not fair to expect them to give you art for free for your tournament to give as a prize. I think like they still need to get compensation for it. Because people were like, well, if you make me free art for this team, then you get free Twitter followers. Like, no, they need tangible, like something they can actually use to make a living. And I think
Yeah.
that's why we don't have really art prizes anymore, because no artist is willing to give away anything for free. Not that they're selfish, but it's because, you know, they need the money to live. Like, you can't blame them.
Yeah.
So, even though art prizes, I think, are a good alternative, I don't think anyone's gonna want an MS Paint picture of their team by me.
MS Paint. That's great. I love that. An MS Paint picture. Pika, just use MS Paint. It's not hard. And the thing is, a lot of the people don't have time for that.
Yeah.
A lot of artists, they're busy doing other commissions.
Yeah, most of the time. But yeah, I know artists for sure don't really like the whole free art for follows. That's just a ruse. It's not beneficial to them whatsoever.
Yeah. It's just a ruse.
I just think like the thing with art, it's like you can have 1,000 followers, and I think only 10% of those people would actually commission you.
Yeah, because most of the people...
Or maybe not even 10%. I think maybe like 1%.
Because like I said earlier, most of the community is younger than
Younger
fucking
people,
18,
yeah, don't have the money to
and
spend.
they don't have a PayPal, or they don't have money in general. Like, in fact, probably the latter.
Yeah.
Or they are 18 and in like college and stuff, and also don't have money. But I mean, that's true. But yeah, that's why. And artists just they need to make a living, you know.
Yeah. So I really don't have like a
That's why I've
definitive.
always, like, Sorry, you keep going.
I really don't have a definitive answer to improve like the community in terms of a tournament situation. Like, you need a group of people who are generous and can collaborate to provide a quality tournament that's done in a reasonable amount of time that can get entrants. That's really all you need. And we need more of them. We like right now all we have is BNS a week, once a week.
That's the thing, because I feel like the way we can get this community to grow is, you know, those over excessive amounts of beginner tournaments that were listed.
Yeah.
Just fucking advertise them.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Be fine.
Yeah.
Like, most people now think that BNS is a starter tournament, when in reality, it's really not.
But here's the other thing too, and here's what the one would disagree with you on. We get more beginner-friendly tournaments, but what about for intermediate players who are prevented from playing the game?
The thing is, yeah, we get enough.
Yeah, they get stuck with just BNS once a week still.
It's true. I mean, I feel like there should be more of those.
Yeah.
But definitely.
Like, remember when we had TikTok Tuesdays, Fall Wednesday Night Splat, and we had like some random Thursday tournament? Well, actually, that was BNS, and then we had some like Friday tournament. Like, we used to have like 4 during the weekdays, and then we would have like the 2 weekend tournaments. Like, it was pretty good. Now we don't have that anymore.
Also, Pika, say hi to Ram. That's
Also, hello Ram. I'm sorry, I was too busy talking to Neppy.
Yeah. He DM'd me saying that. That's why. But yeah, I mean...
Friday Night Splatdown, yeah, that's what it was. Friday Night Splatdown, that was the Friday tournament that I remember. But yeah, we had all these different tournaments, and then, nope. Now we just have BNS.
Okay, sorry about that. But I'll be right back for like a minute.
Okay, that's fine. Also, as for content creation, I talked about this in my After Genesis 6 video that like no one watched, understandably. People can make content, doesn't matter if no one watches it. How do you get people to watch it? You need people to retweet, you need people to share your video too. But here's the thing, nobody in this community does that. Nobody retweets, nobody helps support content creators, we don't do anything to help get their content out there.
That's what this community lacks.
Yeah, we lack any sort of YouTube presence. We have no YouTube presence. Like, I think right now the VODs for Genesis 6 on Endgame TV's channel, like even Grand Finals, has a pitiful amount of views.
I mean, okay, let's be honest here. There are a few content creators.
Yeah.
But they're not involved with
they're not involved with competitive at all, exactly. The only big one I can say, like some like Websum and Dude, that upload pretty regularly. I know Sendo and Soren make content too, but I don't think they get really advertised nearly as much, if at all.
And they also don't make stuff as often.
Yeah, they really don't. It's once in a blue moon.
Yeah, normally they only make stuff from like new patches and stuff drop, which I mean it makes sense.
I had a G6 video. It's on my it's on YouTube. I really didn't like push it or anything. It was just like a random thoughts video. It had no script. It was just like I just regurgitated what I thought about what the community should do after G6. Nothing really special, honestly. But if you wanted to hear my thoughts, it's basically what I went over today. Just in a little bit more of an organized fashion, a little bit more. I had some bullet points, so things didn't flow as they weren't quite as organic as they are today. But
yeah.
But yeah, content creation doesn't matter. You can spend 2 weeks making a perfect guide on how to get into competitive. If no one watches it, what's the point? No, if it doesn't get advertised, doesn't get shared around. Doesn't help anybody. That's why you need help from people.
Why did I just roll a triple? What in the hell? Okay. It's a Vingsaver sub, so it's useless, but, like, okay. Also, I'll be right back. Give me, like, a minute.
Yeah. I'll just chill. Speaking of which, let me go on to YouTube really quick. Endgame TV. videos. Let me see. Grand Finals, which was Ghost Gaming versus Low-Key, if I can find it. God, all of these thumbnails from Endgame make it kind of hard to find the exact set you want to watch. You have to read the titles. It's too uniform. I can't even find the damn set. Where is it? Okay, Grand Final. It has 718 views. 718. That's pretty alright. Compared to everything else from Genesis 6 has about approximately less than 200. Everything else is approximately 200 or less. If you were to average things out, like some of them even have 100 or less. So it's pretty uniform. I mean, pretty low. Genesis was 3 weeks ago, but nothing has really gotten out there. If I go into my videos, some of my Splatoon 1 sets, granted it's been like a year and stuff, but like the Splatoon 2 tournament Grand Finals has 207, nothing crazy, but I think for a really small channel, like I have only 195 subs, that's pretty small compared to Endgame's 3,300, like, I don't know. But it doesn't really help that they don't really... Do they do tags? Hold on, let me see. Let me see. I think that's another thing people don't realize is that you need to put tags on your video. I know there is like a tool online that you can use. That you can like put in a link and it'll give you the tabs. Let me see. Yeah, this tool right here. So if I open up Ghost Gaming versus Low-Key, I copy the link here, and then I put in this URL. They have the tags that they have. The tags that Endgame TV has on Grand Finals of G6 is EGTV, Splatoon, Smash, Nintendo. Maybe they have more, and you know this tool might not be perfect, but that's all they have. That's all they have. That's all they have. If I take the newest video from that SRV2 dude, despite you know my opinions of him and whatever, if we go his Aerospray MG from a week ago, that video, right? Let's just take this video for an example. We put it in this tag finder tool thing. He has that SRV2 dude, Splatoon 2, pro player, competitive, funny moment, Sonic fan, Nintendo Switch, Nintendo.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay, 1 second. And then if we go to Octoboy, right, let me take one of Octoboy's newest videos. This one from 3 days ago. If I put this in this, like, tag viewer thingy, he has Splatoon Wii U, Octoboy, Splatoon, Splatoon 2, Splatoon 2 funny moments, Splatoon 2 compilation, Splatoon 2 funny compilation, Splatoon 2 best of, Splatoon 2 funny best of, Splatoon 2 funtage, Splatoon 2 montage, Splatoon 2 funny montage, Splatoon 2 something in Japanese, Splatoon 2 something in Japanese, Nintendo Switch giveaway, and Amino. And you wonder why Octoboy is very successful on YouTube.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, you go back to Endgame TV, and they literally have 4 tags. Endgame TV, Splatoon 2, Smash, Nintendo. That's it. No one's gonna find that video. Because if you type in any of those words, you're not gonna get that set. You're just gonna get Splatoon 2 bajillion videos that are not that video. Unless you type in the title, and then you would have to know the title in the first place to find that video.
Or just hope it pops up in your recommended.
I'm curious. Let me take a video from PewDiePie.
Oh boy.
Not that I, you know, watch him or anything, but he's undeniably very, very, very successful. So let me see. Let's take probably one of his most recent popular videos, which was him reviewing YouTube Rewind 2018. Let me put this in this tool and see how many tags he has. Apparently it's only 2. I think that's a lie.
I mean, I think it's just because he's already popular enough,
Yeah.
and with the whole like T-Series versus PewDiePie thing, you know.
Yeah.
was
Maybe
going
he
on.
has something better on a different video. Let's see. Go on to this video, maybe? I don't know, share, copy. Yeah, this video called Mr. Beast Hosts Meme Review, question mark. He has the following tags: Satire, Mr. Beast, PewDiePie, Pewds, Pewdie, PDP, Mr. Beast Meme Review, PewDiePie Meme Review, Elon Musk memes. So, like, see how tags are something that a lot of people do? Like, this is how you get your content out there. And I feel like stuff like, you know, when Endgame TV is frankly lazy, like, they don't even bother to like, change it. They just took it from Twitch, presumably. I don't think it was locally recorded. Maybe it was. I think it was. I'm not bothered to check. Neppy, can you make a room?
Oh yeah, my bad. I forgot you don't. I forgot you don't make rooms.
But yeah, when you're frankly this lazy, when you just have 4 tags, very generic tags that don't direct you to anything, this is why our scene struggles, because a lot of the content we make doesn't. Not that tagging is the only thing, mind you, but tagging is definitely very important to getting
also,
content out there.
Like, sorry for interrupting, but like about the Endgame TV like banning situation that you were telling me about. Do you mind DMing me about that?
I can after stream. We'll talk about it after stream. But
also, what happened to the one in Arashi?
he said he was gonna find a scrim. It's no luck, I'm assuming, because he hasn't messaged me at all. So I'm assuming he did not find one.
Dad.
But yeah, case in point, if you don't put tags on your video, no one's gonna find it. It's not gonna show up in recommended anywhere. It's not gonna do anything.
Yeah. I'm
I know,
surprised
when I uploaded my baller in a nutshell video, when I put it on to YouTube, I memed when I did tags because Neppy was with me and it was kind of funny. But I was also being low-key serious. Like, it was kind of redundant. Like, Neppy knows it was kind of dumb and redundant.
It was pretty stupid.
But at the same time, I'm pretty sure that's what's gonna make it at least get more attention than, say, me dumping a random 22K game from Twitch or something. Like, I think that video is gonna get more attention. Not anything crazy, nothing like that. I don't expect it to, but definitely more than what I usually get.
Honestly, we need to make more dumb memes like that. That was fun. It was a good 2 hours, but it was a fun.
Yeah.
Of just making memes. It's great.
I should probably, after this game, I should probably pull up that video in the tag viewer tool, and so people can tell, like, how like dumb I was about tagging it. But it was just an example, and I was trying to make a point to Neppy about like what people need to do.
Yeah. Cause it's true, honestly. I look back at it, and like a lot of popular like YouTubers and stuff, they use tags like that to get their videos like on the recommended thing, and I can understand it. But like I can also understand it for people who use YouTube as their job.
Yeah,
And
for
need
sure, for sure. They
And
need.
need it to live. So, like a lot of people would probably off the bat think that's really selfish. They just want like views and stuff. When some people live based off of that, so they kind of need it. So you can't really go around blaming people for that.
Let's see, what other things can we talk about? I think that settles that conversation.
Yeah, right. That was still a pretty lengthy conversation, though.
Thick combo.
Oh boy.
Dummy thick. Okay, I'm sorry.
Dummy thick. Colonel. Can't fit, dude. I forgot exactly what he said, but that was still really, really good.
David Hayter.
Oh boy. Team's pinging me to play in BNS, so I legitimately don't want to.
Oh, okay. So I pulled up the video. I'm gonna stop playing for a second. That stupid meme video I put as my tags: Splatoon 2, baller, memes, meme, ballers, Splatoon, video game, multiplayer game, funny video, funny moment. Yeah, I was determined. I was like, this is all I can think of at the top of my head.
And then I thought of some.
And then now that I've seen Octovoice tags, I can add Splatoon 2 funny, Splatoon 2 funny moment, Splatoon 2 funny meme, Splatoon 2 funny memes,
funny moments.
Funny moments, yeah.
And then funny moments with a Z.
2019.
Yeah, you spell things with Z's now.
Talk about coaching drama. I don't really have an opinion on it. I just think that if people feel like wasting their money,
yeah, I was gonna say
for advice that they can easily get from people who are way kinder and can probably give you better advice anyway, that's up to them.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're just kind of dumb if you feel like.
But at the same time, I think if these people are willing to provide a service, I think it's in their right to get paid for it if they provide the service. Whether people should pay for it, that's, like I said, it's up to them. You can't tell people not to pay for something, but I still think they're wasting their money because I think there's plenty of people out there who will kindly help coach you for free.
Like Shaq, for example. Shaq's an example.
He's probably booked, in all honesty, but at least he would do it for free.
Toast, go away.
People complain about playing against very good teams. Yeah, I've heard it a few times. Some people are like, "Why are we playing against Low-Key in round 1?"
For me, I never complain about it. I'm just like, oh god, we're playing against them round 1. We're gonna be in for a ride. But I'm just like, all right, whatever. Just try our best, I guess.
I guess it stems from people maybe not understanding how tournament seeding works, like especially if it's their first competitive game ever, you know, they're first starting in the scene, like it's understandable. They don't know how seeding works. They don't understand that good teams play weak teams first. So
yeah.
But I also think it's just teams feel upset because they might have a good tournament run and then they might get like they're like they're one set away from top 8 and having something good, like a good result to have on their record or whatever. And then they play against like Ghost Gaming and then it's like, well, damn. If we didn't play against Ghost Gaming, then we would have like won this team and then we would have been top 8. And everything would have been hunky-dory.
Yeah. But the thing is, even if you got in the top 8, you would have gotten clapped immediately. So it's not like it really would have mattered.
Yeah.
Would have just been more time down the drain. Like that's what I don't get. I don't understand how people can play in tournaments like BNS, which are 6 Swiss rounds, and then play in top 8, which is like another 2 hours for some reason. I'm just like, what the hell? That's too much time for one tournament. That's a waste of a Friday night to me. Like, I could be doing so many other things in 7 hours. And like 5 to like 7 hours. I could be doing so much more.
Oh, I know a hot topic. Neppy, what is your favorite interface for tournaments? Battlefy, Smash GG, Challenge, or Google Sheets?
If I'm gonna be honest, I've only used 3 of the 4. I've never used Smash GG before. I've only used the other 3. And Google Sheets, definite fucking no. That is so annoying to get Oh my god, I hate it.
Supernova 2 was
Okay.
ran on Google Sheets, by the way, and somehow Kraka, the TO, made it happen. Like, fine. He didn't have
Yeah,
issues.
Ludi's run on Google Sheets, and no.
Yeah, that's a big no
No.
for sure.
And then, okay, Challenge I've only ever used like once, and I mean, because I've only ever used it once, I like almost every tournament I've been in has used Battlefy, and I've never run into many problems with fuck. I've never run into many problems with Battlefy.
Uh-huh.
So, if I'm gonna be honest, that's probably the best one. Cause like,
I guess I speak from bias because most of the tournaments I've played, like 90% of them come from Challenge, and I just like Challenge more. I think it's simpler, I think it's more intuitive for people, it doesn't have
Jesus.
all this complicated chat room, bracket nonsense. Like, finding a bracket can be a little intimidating, I think, for a new person who's not used to Battlefy. I don't know, I find
Yeah.
Challenge a lot more accessible, but...
I mean, I probably would too. It's just the fact I've played more
But I
tournaments.
think people do Battlefy for a reason, and I think it's because they don't like Challenge for a reason that I don't understand. I do know the
That's
community agrees that Smash GG is kind of bad, but I don't know. I like Challenge more. I think Challenge is pretty chill.
I basically have only played in Battlefy only tournaments. I've only played in one tournament that has used Challenge before, and I don't even remember what tournament it was. But because I play in mostly BNS, and that's not good for my health at all, I hate it. Makes me like not want to play in tournaments because they're not all like 5 hours long like BNS is, but it sure feels like it. Like I played in some tournaments that were like 2 hours, an hour long. I'm like, this is so much better. Why can't BNS be like this? BNS is like the only thing I play. Why can't it be like this?
Challenge is better. Thank you, Sky. Yeah, I agree. I think Challenge is way better.
I mean, honestly, I'm sure it is. I've just never used it enough
But
to
for
really
some
make an
reason,
accurate
people
decision.
hate it. I don't understand why.
If I'm gonna be honest, I probably like it more. So like the first time I used it, I was like, okay, this is a nice little UI, a nice way of doing things. It's just like I said, I've only ever used it once because I've only ever been on one team that has done anything but BNS before. Like almost all of my other teams have done just BNS.
You hate it because it's too simple? I like it because it's simple. I think Battlefy is too
It makes
extra.
sense that it's simple. Yeah, Battlefy is too extra. Like loot crates, what the fuck? We don't need loot crates. This is a tournament thing. Why do we need loot crates?
Customize your profile, your avatar.
just like I know Challenge just lets you put in a custom one. Like why can't Battlefy do that?
I guess Battlefy is a lot better for
Battlefy's
Nintendo because, or else you'll have teams like, you'll have teams that, what's it called? You have teams that are immature and will put, like, inappropriate things as their team picture on Challenge. I think that's probably why stuff like Ink TV strayed away from it, because, like, you can't regulate it as much.
Yeah. I know TV won't let you do like things that are like sponsored. Or like things that are like copyrighted as your name. Like one of my friends, they were doing a pickup and they named themselves Toyota for some reason, and Ink TV wouldn't let them join in the tournament with that name. It was really funny. Okay, I'm gonna go scrub real fast.
It reminds me of this time when Finally entered a tournament and they entered as Envious Esports.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It was just like a normal tournament, but I still thought it was funny that they just went under like a big team.
A whole different moniker. Yeah. Oh, here's another topic, Pika. How do you feel about Japan exclusive gear?
I think the West is too filthy to get any gear from Japan. I think we don't deserve it. I think we're too petty and too whiny to get anything cool. End of story.
Yeah, honestly, I get that. Like, literally, Japan gets 5 main power tickets, and the West just fucking flips. Like, really? Jesus. It's 5 main power tickets. You could probably get that amount by doing, like, salmon, like, a few days in a row. It's like, sure, Japan gets it free. The reason we're not getting this is because we're too fucking whiny about it. Japan doesn't whine about stuff that America gets exclusively. Then again, we've never gotten anything exclusively. But you get my point. It's like, I doubt Japan would really whine about something American exclusive. At least I doubt.
But yeah.
There's a chance. But yeah, I'm just gonna assume Rip's
I just
good.
quickly googled a TikTok Tuesdays bracket on challenge, and I'm just like, look how simple it is to just look at the bracket. It's all on screen. You don't have to do any zoom in, zoom out BS.
Oh yeah, this is what it looked like. Okay, yeah, now I remember.
It's like,
I remember what it looks
I
like
like
now.
this
Yeah.
more. I like it so much more.
God, how long ago was this?
This was October 17th, 2017.
Yeah, I was gonna say I see some old teams here.
Let me see if I can find the Supernova 2 spreadsheet. I can probably Google it.
You probably still have it in like your Google Drive somewhere.
Maybe.
Cause I know I still have the Ludi S7 one in mine. So I don't use my personal email for anything like Google Docs related or like Google Drive related at all. I only use my school one for stuff like that. And I almost signed into it with my school one. And then I
And
realized how
Ludi
bad of an
ran
idea that was.
ran its seasons on challenge. Season 1 was on Google Sheets, I think, and then season 2 onwards to like the more recent ones were on
Yeah,
challenge.
yeah, they were on challenge, and then like the brackets were, but like all the seating and all that other stuff, yeah, that was a spreadsheet that we had to try and maneuver through. It was not fun. So like, yeah, maneuver through this spreadsheet and try to find your team name and see what div you're at. And see if you actually signed up or not. I mean, like, yeah, that's a good way of doing it, I guess. That's probably the best way of doing it. But it's still a mess.
Did I see the NA Open? No, I was not interested in watching the NA Open at all, and I only watched the sets low-key played because I love them, and that's it. I didn't care about anybody else. I didn't care to watch it. I thought it was boring. I didn't watch it.
It really was. Like, all of the sets basically were just 4-1. Like, I feel like Loki's set was probably the most interesting. So I watched, I watched most of it. I didn't watch the third set. I honestly forgot who played.
I had no interest in it.
I had somewhat of an interest. I watched it partially.
Do you know what would be
It's like-
interesting? Seeing all those teams play in a community tournament. Not
It's
having
like
to play turf war.
Yeah. It's like, I tweeted about this like a while ago. I doubt you saw it because you don't follow me, SMH, but yeah, anyways. Like, I made a tweet about it. I was like, I honestly, like, I was like, in my personal opinion, Loki is my favorite Splatoon team to watch. They always have the most hype sets for me, at least, to watch. Like, almost every other team, it doesn't. I don't find it interesting. I don't know. It's just like, I don't get it, but I feel like they're probably my favorite Splatoon team to watch because they always have, at least to me, they always have the most interesting sets. And even still, I only ever watch them play in like majors.
Yeah, I don't watch them play VNS.
I don't watch them play I don't watch tournaments normally.
And I think it's because I don't like BNS, not because I don't like watching it. I think it's just because I don't like BNS.
Yeah, and like there was that whole drama like a few months ago about the commentators. You remember that?
Oh yeah. Whether they fix
Because
that or
it's
not, I
good.
don't know, because I don't care.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't care enough to really know. I'm like, cool. Some of my friends are commentating. That's cool. Like that's cool for them. I hope they kind of can get into commentating. So that'd be really cool. And then, like the next day, like they told me about it. I was like, all right, that's really cool. You should like, I feel like you should maybe try and get into commentating. Then, if you enjoyed it, like, because they told me they had enjoyed it like right after. Even though I didn't watch, I was like, oh, that's really cool. Maybe you should try and get into commentating. And then the next day, I see like BNS commentary is garbage. I'm like, oh, what the hell happened? It's like, oh, yeah, I'm just like, oh, and I talked about it to them. I was like, have you looked at Twitter? And they're like, no, I haven't. And then they look at it, and they were just like heartbroken by it, honestly, and I can't blame them. because they were just kind of getting like shat on publicly.
Yeah, and again, I understand why they do it. I mean, you gotta have people start somewhere.
Yeah.
But I just think people were fed up because it was happening constantly, week after week after week.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate timing.
Yeah.
But that's the thing with InkTV that bothers me too, is that they are both professional and not professional at the same time.
Yeah. If I'm gonna be honest, I feel like the one should be a commentator.
When we hosted Planetune Cup, the one was the only commentator because I had nothing to say.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like he'd be a good commentator.
Mostly because people have told me, "Oh, when you commentate, you're too critical. You criticize too much," and that's when I was like, you know what? I'm just never gonna commentate ever again.
Yeah.
Also, here's a Supernova 2 spreadsheet. Look at that. Why can't we have more tournaments like this? I mean, granted, it was Google Sheets, but why can't we just have more of these?
Yeah, that looks so much better than the Ludi one. Hold on. I'm gonna see if I can freaking find the Ludi one. Give me a minute. Google Drive. That's not a G. Fucking keyboard. That's not an E. Google Drive. Yes. Go to Google Drive. Am I on the right account? I am on the right account. Okay. Is it seriously not here? God damn it. Hold on.
I'll put it in chat. If you want to look at an old
no,
Splatoon 1 tournament that had a whole bunch of entrants, yeah, there you go.
Hold on. Control C. Control V. Look at that, Pika. Like, that's no.
Oh god. Okay.
I used to have my laptop back when this was a thing. I didn't have this PC back then, so I had to zoom in and out just to like see everything, and it was a mess.
I miss Splatoon 1.
Like, this just looks too complicated. Like, look at this.
I think the names were better in Splatoon 1 too.
I mean, you're not wrong. Yeah, why? It's true, I feel like they were. Like, a lot of team names were better.
Let me go on Squidboards and find the SAI tournament and see what the other brackets look like. Because they are just as big.
Because, like, a lot of team names now, they try to make a pun based off of the game.
Actually, rather than spamming chat, I'm just gonna link you the Squidboards page because it has all the links there.
Oh, okay.
If I can find it.
If I can find it. I like how we just got right back on topic about tournaments. Like we tried to switch topics for a second, and then now we're back on tournaments. I feel like that's all the stream's gonna be. It's just us complaining about tournaments.
Tournaments, yeah. Just enter all the tournaments, Neppy. Hold on, I'm sorry.
If I did, I'd probably end up quitting again because I'd be so burnt out and not willing to do anything with this game. It's like, goddamn, I can only play in intervals. I cannot play for long periods of time. Like in like competitive setting. If it's like scrims or something.
Yeah,
not
I
like
think
scrims, but
Brett
if it's
said
like,
this before, and it's probably one of the most relatable tweets I've ever seen. You can play 5 hours of squads and feel nothing. You play 1 hour tournament and you feel exhausted.
Yeah, that's how I feel right now. I had problems throwing that clam. Nice. But like, dear God. Onyx! That's not what I meant, Onyx. Calm down. That's not what I meant.
Okay, so yeah, here's SAI, which was like one of the most important tournaments ever. Yeah, if you go onto the Squidboards link, all of the qualifier tournaments, you can click on the event pages there and you can find the bracket, maybe? Like,
Maybe.
Maybe? I don't know.
Let's hope.
Sometimes they didn't put the brackets in there and they just put them in the Discord, which might have been deleted. So, you never know. Like, Endgame TV's Cloudburst capped at 56, which is pretty good, all things considered. But this was back when tournaments were actually big, and they didn't have money to make people sign up. You miss SCL? I miss SCL too. I miss Slimy as a TO. He was fun.
Isn't he like a part of? He's a part of Endgame now. That's right.
Yeah. Slimy is an old fart in the community. Not that he's an old fart IRL. He's just an old fart in the community.
Yeah, isn't he like one of the first?
He's been around since Inker Sync. Yeah, he's been here forever. He's the community grandpa. IMO.
Also, this weapon's so easy.
So in short, tournaments were ruined by greed. I think tournaments were ruined by a shift in values and priorities. I think more people wanted to get stuff out of Splatoon 2, like people wanted to make it esports, and the focus on that instead of making an accessible community and growing by having more people play is what ruined it. I think money's fine, it's just that I think once money became the sole focus and the main motivation for people to play, then that's
now we're just kind of stagnant.
Yeah, now we're just stagnant because now people either don't want to play these super long tournaments, or some tournaments that have entry fees for these prize pots that people don't have money because they're usually younger crowds.
Like me, for example. I don't want to play BNS, but most of the time my team forces me to because I'm available and I have no excuse not to play. So they're like, yeah, just play. I'm like, all right, fine. Don't expect me to play well though, because I hate this tournament. Whatever. That's the case with most BNSs, unless I'm like legitimately having fun. It's like, yeah, I'll have fun in competitive sometimes, but whenever I'm playing a tournament, most of the time I'm focused. I'm not really paying attention to what all is being said. Like, I'm never laughing at anything or whatnot. Unless I do something stupid. I might laugh at that. Yeah, no, it's just too long. Just
yeah, I
TLDR.
think it's too long too.
Just TLDR.
And most people in +1 would agree too, or at least when I was in there, that's what people would talk about. It's too long.
Just TLDR BNS too long. Just make them shorter, like literally every other tournament.
And I guess this brings up another interesting point, and at least this is how I feel, and it's, again, might come off as selfish, but I think a lot of experienced players would feel the same. No experienced player wants to sit through 4 hours of group stages when they know they're just going to get out of groups anyway, like a 95% chance. Nobody wants to play through group stages when they know they're pretty likely, like, pretty damn certain likely that they're going to get to top 8.
Yeah, it's true, I mean...
I forgot what tournament it was. I think it was very controversial because they did it, but it was probably like an Inkstorm 6, maybe? I think it was Inkstorm. I could be wrong, could be completely wrong. But I know one tournament, it was a big tournament, it was a major. What they did was that some teams, like Set to Destroy X, I think they were Deadbeat at the time, I don't know. They automatically just passed groups, like, they were just put in bracket at the start of the tourney, like,
which is smart.
Which I think is a good idea. It speeds up everything. It benefits both people.
I believe it was Team Olive. as
Yeah,
well at the
players
time,
who
and they had
are
the same
really
thing.
strong at the game and don't want to waste time spending 2 hours playing against teams that have no feasible chance of winning. They don't have to deal with that. Teams don't have to get crushed by these top teams. Like, it's a win-win.
I feel like they should do that in a lot of things. But the thing is with BNS, a
But
lot of good
again, the
teams
reason
still
why it was
sign up.
okay, yeah. But again, the reason why it was so controversial is because it comes back to the whole top player privilege thing that this community thinks is true, which it is to an extent. But I think when you do stuff like that, it really emphasizes that it exists, and that's when it gets pretty spicy. And I think that's why people don't want to implement it because they fear the backlash.
Yeah.
And it's only, I think it's mostly because it's a new change. I'm sure if Splatoon tournaments always did this, then, you know, people would accept it, right? But I think because it was such a new, like, bold move, that's why people got upset, and people were like, top player privilege, they don't get to play groups, and we get to play groups? Like, what the heck, man?
Yeah.
But it was set to destroy X in their prime. Like, I mean, are you really gonna make them play groups? They're gonna make it out.
Yeah.
I know upsets and stuff can happen, but realistically, they're
it's
not
not
gonna,
gonna
they're not gonna like not make it. And I think,
Like, I honestly, I always like it when upsets happen, because I'm like, oh cool, a team that you don't normally see this high up is here. That's really
Yeah.
cool. Or a team that you don't normally see beat this really well-known team.
yeah,
That's really cool. Like, take the Ink Sigma versus Deep Blues thing.
yeah, that one's pretty recent.
Yeah. In the NA Open, which I didn't really care about, like I said. I didn't even watch that.
It's dumb to say it's top player privilege because they put more time in the game. Well, believe it or not, people think top player privilege is the dumbest thing. But it is to an extent. Like, there's extremes where I disagree with what some TOs do. Like, sometimes TOs let top players get away with breaking the rules sometimes. Like, sometimes they take forever for one reason or another. Like, I know one time Hexen, like, left to go to the bathroom. Or something, right? And then he took forever, and then I think that time TOs like didn't care, and they made him lose the set because they took too long or whatever. But sometimes people get out of those situations. Like, TOs will be like, "Oh, that's fine. It's not that big of a delay. You guys were cool." But
Or just because...
I think rewarding a team like that, I think that's fine. But I think giving a team a pass for breaking a rule is not okay. But it's, I guess, subjective, even though I think it's pretty objective, but it's subjective in this community. Whether people who put in time and effort should get these perks and benefits.
I mean, yeah. That makes sense. Also, holy crap, we've been playing
But
for
again,
3
that's
hours.
my presumption. I'm sure there's top players out there who don't mind groups. Me personally, like, if on a weekday especially, like, I don't mind it too much on weekends, but on a weekday, I don't want to spend time playing against easy teams. I don't learn anything from it. They don't learn anything from it. I don't see the point.
Yeah, like, that's something that, like, my team was talking about earlier. Because we've been doing scrims, like, almost daily
Uh-huh.
for, like, the past few weeks now, right?
Uh-huh.
And they're like, yeah, we've been doing well against all these, like, Div 3 and, like, Div 2 teams. We should try fighting some Div 1 to X teams. I'm like, no, we shouldn't. We're not gonna get anything from that. Stop.
I always told this to myself. I like play or when I was like, you know, climbing up the ladder, basically. I like to play against really strong teams just to compare, like, how much better I am now than I was before. Like, the first time I played against Chimera, I got stomped. The second time I played against Chimera, it was a better attempt. And then the third time I played them, it was pretty even. Like, LMT, or at least at the time they were stationed, we were pretty good. We were able to at least take a game or two off of Chimera, like, every time we played after that. And, you know, like, it was a nice, like checkpoint to basically reassess, like, my progress. And that's when I see it's justified. But obviously when I played Chimera for the first time and the second time, there was a lot of scrims in between against teams of increasing levels of skill. Like, I didn't, like, immediately, you know, get better because I played against Chimera again. No, it was because I played against teams that were more or less my level a whole bunch. And with time, improved. Yeah. So obviously, if you scrim Ghost all the time, you're not going to learn anything. But if you scrim Ghost one time and then maybe scrim him again in a month after you scrimmed a whole bunch of other teams and improve, then yeah, you can use it to reassess and basically like reevaluate. Like, okay, this is what's working, this isn't what's working, and blah blah blah.
Yeah, and I was like, we should try scrimming some Div 1X teams next. See how we do. I'm like, not some. We should scrim like 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Because if we try and keep scrimming them over and over again, it's just going to be a waste of our time, and we're not going to get anything from it. Because we're obviously not up there yet. So there's no point in doing that. It's just going to end up being a waste of our own time.
Is there a possible way to enter scrims even though you're one person, not a team? Yes, it's called pickups, which have been, at least in my experience, really hard to find nowadays. But that's because I'm not in the super huge public pickup server. I'm sure if I pinged in there, I would get +3 really easily. But yeah, pickups. There's servers out there where you can literally just ping 3 random people, get a team, and then find a scrim, and then you scrim that team as a pickup team. I've been trying to be a little bit more like open to who I play with. Like I just want to play the game, so I really don't mind. Like my rules, at least for my pickup, is just at least rank X. That's it. Rank X all modes. If you cover that, then that's fine. Like 10 out of 10. But otherwise, there's other servers for other skill levels, I'm assuming. And I'm toxic. Yes. Yeah.
I said, and don't be toxic.
Oh, and don't be toxic. Yeah. But yeah, pickups are free, yeah, as Sky put it. Yeah, they're dead. Like
they really are.
I've only legitimately tried yesterday and today, and I think it's kind of dumb to assume that they're dead because I tried 2 times, and I just assumed yesterday was just Monday because it's Monday and nobody likes to play on Mondays. But I mean, I pinged in a server, I pinged in my server, I asked on Twitter, and I got literally 1 person.
Like that's why, honestly.
So, and then, you know, it goes back to the whole Pika, why don't you just join a team? You don't need to find people if you have a team to play with. And then, I already talked about this with Neppy, I can't join a team because if it's too low level, then I get banned from playing any tournaments with them because of my difference in skill level. And then, it's just a mess, like...
Yeah, like, remember how we tried to enter, like, SSG or something?
Yeah, they tried to enter Squid Spawning Grounds
and... on 4th because we didn't have it 4th at the time.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, you can't play, you're too high of a skill level. And I was like, wow, okay, fine, I guess we won't play in this tournament then. Yeah. So we didn't have a 4th, we didn't have a 4th that could play. So I'm like, yep, guess we're not playing.
So, yeah, I've been trying to look into pickups just so I can get scrim practice, just because low-key when they're full I don't play, and I want to play.
Yeah.
So...
I mean,
but to no luck.
Like, most of the time when you ask me I'm available, it's just yesterday was an exception.
Yeah, that's fine.
So we decided to keep going. We did like 4 scrims yesterday. So, I'm just like, why did we keep going?
I tried to reason with the TOs. I was telling them that I'm not playing Charger, because I would be playing, like, dualies. Like, a weapon I don't play, like, at all. And they still wouldn't let me.
Yeah, because... we already have 2 people who played Charger.
And that's the thing, like, before I was completely against it, because I was like, oh, I'm a pretty decent player, I should be playing with people my skill level, why would I go down? But now it's like, I just want to play the game, and if it's the only way to play the game, I don't mind, but then now there's drawbacks to that, because now if I want to play tournaments for their skill level, like, let's say they're a little bit lower level players, right, they maybe it's their first time getting into the game, I probably wouldn't mind playing tournaments with them, just, you know, to help a person out. I can't do that. I can't do that. My only option is to play BNS, and imagine telling someone, are you ready for your first tournament, bro? Yeah, alright, it's 5 hours.
Yeah. See, whenever I first joined the team, our first tournament was BNS, I wasn't told that it was going to be 5 hours long. See, 1 in the morning, well, technically the next day, I was on the verge of passing out. I'm pretty sure I did, like, a few minutes later, like, after I left the VC, I just kind of fell and just kind of, like, died for, like, until, like, midday, because I just wasn't, like, mentally prepared for 5 hours of straight playing the game. So I, like after it, I just kind of, like, passed out.
Yeah.
Just, like, not mentally prepared enough for it. So it's not a good If you
So
don't
yeah,
have
right
more
now,
games,
at least for me, my situation playing the game, it's a mess. Like, the only time I can get like practice of around my skill level is if Loki doesn't have anybody, and they have 7 players now.
7 people now. That's ship.
Yeah.
So yeah, have fun.
Have fun, yeah,
trying to play
have
with
fun
them.
actually trying to sub in a team with 7 people.
Yeah,
Not that I have anything against them, oops.
they're
They-
all good people, at least from what I've seen and heard.
What I mean by that is like, no, I don't have like any sort of vendetta because they rather play with their own team instead of me. It's perfectly
That makes
understandable.
sense.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it makes sense. Like, I'm a sub, but it's like, god damn it,
Just
if
wanna
I'm not
play the-
playing, I can't play the game.
Yeah. Just play with me, Pico. Gosh.
Yeah, play with Nappy forever.
Yeah, exactly. It's
I
not
don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, you made that sound a little strange. but-
Forever.
Yeah, I mean, most of the time I'm available. And like I said, I'll just say no if I'm not.
We're gonna be the next Neptune and Plutia where we do the same thing for 10 years.
Yeah. Even though in actuality it's like 10 days.
Yeah.
I threw that fizzy right in the water. Yeah, Pico, we're just gonna be doing double Keishin twins forever.
Forever.
I'll max out my ink on this weapon. Oh my god! Where did he come from? But yeah. Like, I really enjoy playing with my team, but like, if there's just certain tournaments that I don't want to play. Like, I don't want to play
Nobody
BS.
rats the
I don't-
crap.
well,
Okay, it's fine.
Rip. But yeah, it's just like I don't want to play BNS. But sometimes I'm the only person who can, so I have to.
Should I just tell the one that, like, I'm gonna opt out because we're not gonna find anyone, and I don't want him to be like 2 hours from now, scram!
I mean, we can, 'cause honestly, I'm still probably gonna stay up for a while.
I mean, no, I meant like, tell him like I'm not down to play anymore because I don't want him coming 2 hours later and being like, are you still ready to scram? I'm like, dude.
Yeah, we're gonna be burnt out by them, honestly. 2 hours from now, we're gonna probably be burnt out. Or at least I will. Because, like I said, I can only play in certain intervals anymore. In Splatoon 1, I could play... Honestly, I could play for, like, 10 hours straight and I'd be fine. But now it's like, dear God, I can only play in certain intervals. Or else I will get salty and mad as all hell. Like, I will get to the point where...
Have a good
tables will be
night.
Flipped.
That Poppy underscore.
Good night.
We're gonna be double Kashin forever.
Double Kashin forever.
Also, what should I title this VOD? Because I plan to upload it for anyone who care to listen. This community sucks. Clickbait. There we go.
And then put a bunch of tags. I feel like there could be a meme made out of this. I have no idea what. I have no idea what footage to record.
Okay, the one said, okay, scrims are dead. L-E-L. Lel.
Well,
I mean, what else would you title this whole hour-and-a-half long discussion?
for once we talk about something serious. For once, a thoughtful discussion.
I think if I title it "This Community Sucks," it just comes off as pessimistic and not very valuable.
Yeah.
This community sucks, and what we can do to fix it.
I mean, most of this was about tournament reforms, so just call it like a discussion about tournament reforms.
Well, and other things.
I guess.
I don't know. We talked about quite a bit of different things. We talked about tournaments.
I mean,
we talked
Yeah,
about
but I feel like the main topic
yeah.
was tournaments.
But I don't know.
So,
I feel like we
like,
should have
I
a
feel
title
like
that
just, like,
covers everything.
a discussion about tournament
This
reforms.
community does suck. Okay, well, we'll just go with that title.
I mean, yeah, it really does. I mean, this is kind of also getting into some little yikes territory, but there are a lot of fucked up things about people in this community.
Oh, for sure. But I think that's a discussion for another day.
That's a discussion for probably not on stream. because it could honestly have a chance of getting you like banned or something if I talk about stuff like that on stream.
Although, is it necessarily the game's fault? I don't think so. I think it's just
it's probably
the
not.
internet
It's
being
just
the
like,
internet.
The internet's being the internet, but I've only ever seen it really happen in this community, and it happens so prominently.
Yeah, and not that, I mean, this,
Actually, what the
yeah,
fuck?
because it does happen pretty prominently in this community. You're right.
It's like this community's fucked up. There are all sorts of great people in this community. There are also those kind of fucked up people in this community.
Yep.
I'm just like, what the shit?
You always have the bad eggs.
Yeah. But there are always some really nice people. Like you, for example.
I don't know about that one.
You're a good person to me, at least.
Aww. It's such a heartfelt statement, Effie.
I know.
We really are Nep and Plu. Everyone hates me, but you appreciate me.
I mean, I've been like interacting with you at least via stream for almost a year now, so.
Yeah, I looked on, like, apparently Twitch keeps track of how many messages people send in your chat, and you have 999 plus.
Nice. I'm not surprised,
So,
honestly. It's like, yeah, I've been almost a year. I've been following you on Twitch. Now that I think about it. I looked at it a few days ago. I think.
That just means your opinions are biased because you agree with PK. Invalid discussion.
Wow. Yeah, just edit that one out. So I'm sure people would think that, but honestly, we just share a. We're really alike, honestly. Like, we're really similar.
it's scary.
Yeah. Kinda is.
Neppy, what if I told you I'm you, but from the future? Don't
Um,
question that we have different voices, but...
See, the thing is, I wouldn't be surprised because I've had somebody tell me that before. Like, one of my best friends, he was on one of my very first teams, and we were like really similar, and we've been through like a lot of the same experiences, except like because he's like an adult, he's like 25, I want to say, he's like 25, 24, like he's like 10 years older than I am, but like we're really good friends. And he would always tell me how, like, just don't do any of the stuff that I do or else you're just gonna turn into me. And I'm like, honestly, I honestly, yeah, that's believable. Because we've been through, like, a lot of the same kind of shit. Good or bad, really. I mean, there are a few things that I won't mention on stream that I've been through that he hasn't, per se, and then there are some things that he's been through that I haven't. And honestly, neither of those things either of us want to ever go through. So,
Chat, I guess more so specifically Sky. Is there anything you want us to talk about? Because I kind of want to stop soon. Any burning topic?
yeah. If you want me, Pika. Fuck.
Whoa!
If you
Whoa!
want me too. I forgot a word there. That's not what I meant.
Lewd.
Shush. If you want me to, Pika, I can go into like more detail about that later.
We
Just
can
not
talk
on
about it off stream.
Yeah, because, yeah, personal information. At least to me, anyway. I've only ever told specific people about it. But yeah, give us a topic.
God.
End topic.
Dude,
Except
Double
for, like-
Machine is too much fun.
Double Machine is dumb. That's what it is. It's fun. At least we can autopilot on this thing and actually still do somewhat decently.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder how we'd do if we actually, like, tried.
Yeah, I don't know, to be honest, you covered pretty much everything. Alright.
Alright.
That's good enough until we inevitably talk about the same thing again in 2 weeks from now, because that's what tends to happen. I tend to repeat myself, because nothing changes.
It's because this community's stagnant.
It really is. It's very stagnant and static.
honestly, like whenever
I
people
would
talk about,
say it's slowly growing, but not in any way that's very noticeable.
yeah, I was gonna say it's
If you're being
growing.
optimistic, I think it is
Yeah.
growing, but if you're being realistic, I think it's slowly dwindling.
Okay.
Not dying,
If
dwindling.
if I'm gonna be honest, it's growing, but goddamn, it's growing real slow.
I think it's dwindling, but
I feel like it's growing. It's just growing at the speed of fucking molasses. Like it's growing real
and
slow.
I told this to some people, and some people told this to me. I mean, this game has hard competition with Smash for being the Switch esport quote-unquote game.
And Smash, honestly, to me, Smash is obviously better.
Smash is
Smash
like,
is the obviously bigger.
size-wise, viewership-wise, it doesn't compare. It's just so
What
much
was that
bigger.
hitbox? Pika, I'm clipping that. So I'm gonna put that up after like we're done. After like we're done with Twins.
Yeah.
But like Jesus, this hitbox is so dumb. I hate it so much.
Yeah, we have more teams, sponsored teams, that's true, but I feel like it's just them trying to jump early on an investment. But
Yeah. And plus, there aren't.
what would I
really-
look for as activity metrics? Viewership on YouTube, even though I don't think it counts because most of viewership is on Twitch. So basically, amount of people watching the game on Twitch and at a given time. And from what I've noticed, at least for big tournaments like G6, it didn't really break 1,000. It used to break 1,000. Like G5, I think broke 1,000 even before Grand Finals. G6 really didn't until Grand Finals. So I don't know. Viewer metrics is one thing. I guess amount of attendees in a tournament and how consistent that is. Because people are like, see, the community's growing. See, this tournament got 40 signups, and then next week they have like 30, and then next week it has like 35, and then maybe the week after that has 50. But it's like not very consistent and constant, so it's kind of hard to judge that way. But really, I guess it just comes down to average amount of viewers on Twitch in a given week, and I guess amount of attendees.
Yeah.
Yeah, viewership for Splatoon isn't very high, and I think it's, again, I think it was much better before because it was the only, like, Switch game.
I also feel like it's not because it's a new IP.
Yeah.
Smash has been around for much longer.
And their scene is much more well established as a viewer experience. Because I tell this to Brett, and I share this opinion. IML Splatoon is boring to watch. At least for me. At least for me, it's boring to watch. Some people find it very, very fast and interesting and cool. I find it really boring, and I think tournaments need to find a way, or at least casters need to find a way to make it interesting.
Yeah, like what Sky said. Most of these sponsored teams won't last long. I feel like that's true because, I mean, at least to me, a lot of these sponsored orgs I have never heard of before.
Yeah.
Like, if it was, like, some of the big orgs coming in, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I think Ghost Gaming's, like, decently well known and all that.
Yeah, they're
Like, if-
decently sized.
Yeah, if some of, like, the really big orgs came into this game, then we'd start getting more and more.
Yeah.
Then we'd start getting bigger. I feel like it just kind of relies, honestly, on us getting, like, sponsored teams and stuff.
Yeah. Getting viewership and content and all of that. But yeah, going back to what I said, I think viewership was much better a few months ago before Smash was out because this was the only like Switch game with multiplayer that was fairly big. But like
And
ever since Smash came out, I think this game has struggled because I think a lot of people just went to play Smash instead of this game. A lot
And
of
if
people
I'm
went to
gonna-
watch Smash instead of this game. Like I think Smash is just what killed, or at least put a dent in this game's success.
And if I'm gonna be honest, like, when did Smash 4 come out? Do you know?
I don't
Or-
know
well,
off
okay.
the top of my head.
Did it come out after Splat 1?
I don't think. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't really pay attention to.
So I was gonna
release
say,
dates.
if it did, then it had the same problem.
Yeah.
Because Splatoon was a new IP at the time, and it was still growing. And then Smash came in, a really well-known series on Nintendo consoles that's known for being competitive. Cough, cough, melee, cough, cough.
And of course, the obvious elephant in the room, Fortnite.
Yeah.
A lot of Splatoon players jumped onto that game. I mean, they didn't stay there permanently, but they did leave.
Unlike other battle royales.
Other battle royales, yeah. I think
like the newest one on the block.
Specifically,
H1,
4, I think,
H1
just took
buttons.
from literally everything. Like, that game was so popular, it took from every community, regardless of its size.
Yeah. It just kind of stole people from everything, really.
Okay, Smash 4 came out after Splatoon 1. Like, by a long shot. Splatoon 1 was May, Smash 4 was September.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I think, yeah, when Splatoon 1 released, it was pretty strong in viewership from what I remember, because it was a new IP, everyone was hyped for it.
Yeah.
And I guess the hype
And
died
then
down.
Smash came out.
Yeah, because people were ready for Smash, and people started watching Smash instead. And then
Because
once Bayonetta came out, and, you know, people came back to this game, I think, for a little while, and then...
Yeah, because everybody hated Bayo and nobody enjoyed watching Smash, because that's all you'd see. And I feel like that's why people don't enjoy watching this game, because there's no weapons. All
Yeah,
the
this,
time.
I mean, people
Most of
say
the
this
time
game
it's
is
all you
balanced and stuff, but at least from a viewer perspective, I don't see as much variety, or nearly as
From
much
a-
variety in this
From a
game.
viewer perspective, no, it's not.
Yeah, I don't see very much variety
see,
in the
like,
top team comps.
Let's take this patch for example. Like this patch from a viewer, from the viewer's perspective that doesn't really play, they'd think the meta would be like Dualies, Kashin, K-Pro, and like CX Wash.
It's pretty clear cut, yeah. I'd
Yeah,
say.
that's what they think meta is, and like maybe a charger here and there.
Yeah, just like, I mean, have you noticed there's more K-Pros, there's more undercovers, there's like more
Oh, yeah,
of these
Conquer.
weapons. Yeah.
That's what I was forgetting.
But here's the thing, and it goes back to what I said earlier, just the shift in priorities and values. Like, in Splatoon 1, you had so much variety in comps because people played for fun and for the competition, and people had an identity. Like, Tetsu played Bamboo, that's how he identified himself. There was people who mained Machine and were really good at it, and, you know, you had so much variety in these teams. Like, Red played Carbon. There was not very many Splatling players back then. Like, it was just, like, Gamer and Zutter that were the big ones, and then Kaji too, but I don't think she was as popular. But nowadays, like, because priorities have shifted more to play to win instead of play to have fun, people really just want to win. That's why we started seeing a more uniform, just meta like centralized community. Like, now most teams play the same things. There's very little variety, and people who play outside of the norm get ridiculed.
Yeah.
Sometimes
or
for
the-
good reason, and sometimes for not good reason. Like, I think some weapons are legitimately good. Like, I think if you play Hydra, you're fine. Like, I don't think people should, like, hate on you for playing Hydra. If you play, like, Vanilla Clash, then yeah, people should hate on you. But
Oof. I mean, my team.
I'm
like,
joking and I'm sarcastic, but you get my point. Like, there's some
Yeah.
weapons that are actually pretty decent. But
My team will like kind of ridicule me for playing E-Leader over like Splatterscope or like Splat Charger, but on some maps it's understandable, on some maps I just don't get it.
people should be able to play what they like. Yeah, I agree, but there's definitely a lot of discrimination. Like, if you advertise yourself as an E-Leader main, no one's gonna pick you up.
Yeah. Just
If you advertise yourself as a
treasure
Splatterscope, then people will pick you up and will take you into consideration. But if you play Leader, Leader's been bashed by top players for so long now that people think it's a meme. Commentators think it's a meme. If you play Leader, no one's gonna watch you.
man. Yeah. And it's sad too, cause like it's such a fun weapon.
Yeah. But the thing is, it's like people just don't understand the weapon because, like, I played against Deep Blues yesterday and it did fine against them and they're a pretty competent team, and then you get people like FLC who have no idea what they're talking about, and the best reasons they can come up with E-Leader is it kills too slow to be an anchor, and what was the other thing he said? I told this to the one. He only had 2 reasons for why Leader was bad. It was it kills too slow to be an anchor, so it doesn't get enough kills in and out of time, and it's only good against 15-year-old EU players who rush in.
Seriously. That's it. Oh my
Yeah. And I think that's what I only peeked into his stream because I got tired of his opinions because I thought they were blatantly wrong. But FLC is under the presumption that Charger is good because people are bad at the game. He says, like, Charger is only good. He's like, Charger, of course it's top tier when you play in a scene where everyone literally just rushes in and dies. Like, yeah, of course Charger's OP. Like, it wouldn't be
but
OP if people actually knew how to play the game. And
The
it's
thing
like,
is okay, sorry, keep going.
and it's like, if that's what the community does, that's fine. That's what the meta is. Like, I think people keep comparing Japanese meta to American meta, but we play the game in so different ways. Like, I think we should focus on building our own meta with how we play rather than trying to adapt Japanese meta into the West. And that's why we have like weapons like Carbon. Carbon was pretty good in Japan for a while. Nobody plays it here because it's too hard. It just doesn't work in our meta. Like people rush in, Carbon doesn't really do well with people who can rush in and just out damage you, you know?
Yeah. Yep. I get what you're saying. And yeah, it's true. Like there are some honestly really sleeper weapons that I wish.
Yeah. Another
could
one,
see some time in this
FLC was
file.
like KL3 is bad, and people think
Yeah.
it's only
Oh,
good.
That reminds me of this tweet by him. Hold on.
Yeah. People think it's only good because Arashi played against people who can't read patch notes to know that you can't shoot hammer while it's hammering. If people
don't know
knew
if
how
you
to
saw
read
this
patch
tweet or
notes, KL3 would have been trash, and Arashi only popularized it because he played against noobs and lands, and
Like,
like,
shit, I almost copied this to the wrong person.
so...
I almost said this.
I feel like what he says is right sometimes, but he definitely is just outdated.
Yeah,
like,
just look at that after this match. I saw that and I'm just like, what in the world?
oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. He made this on stream today, and I was just like, no. The only thing I agree with is number one, which is easy weapons that are effective,
I mean, yeah.
which is K-Pro Machine, X-Flasher, like easy weapons to pick up and play that are very effective and
I mean,
basically
I can't
define
play
the meta.
Explosion for shit. Just because I play Charger for a living, it's like I honestly can't get like used to it. That's why I have a person on my team who plays Explosion and is a one-trick Explosion. So, except they're on hiatus right now, but whatever.
And it's just, there's a weird, like, I don't know if this is the right word, dichotomy between people who want to play the game and what they want to play, and people who are frustrated that people are playing low-tier weapons because they're not pushing the game to its full extent.
When honestly, playing low tiers is pushing the game into its full extent. So you're trying to find new things that could possibly fit into the meta, or quote-unquote meta.
Because top players don't like playing against low-tier weapons, people want to play low-tier weapons because they feel comfortable with them, and some of these quote-unquote low-tiers I think have redeeming qualities that just haven't been explored, like Splash, with its perfect accuracy, and it can just deal with dualies because it has burst bombs, and you know if they roll away from you, you can actually reach them, unlike with other shooters. But, I
And
don't know.
then E-Leader is a sleeper weapon.
U-Eater for sure is sleeper weapon, and I think it's because people have been so, like, used to Ray, and Ray just being so good, it's like...
And they've given it an ability that gives it more range, which
Yeah.
is what people have been asking for since Splatoon 2 came
But
out.
it's not enough range, Neppy.
E-Leader's, like the one says, E-Leader is gear independent. It can run almost any gear set and be completely fine. So
Yeah,
you
and
can
I
run-
agree, Coconut. I think ceiling for Rapid has never been reached because people played Rapid when it was meta, and people didn't even bother to direct because it was good enough that you can get by with just splash damage and just good
Yeah, and then
spacing.
people dropped it when dualies became meta.
Yeah.
And still like, oh, I can't direct. Nope,
Yeah, I
not
can't
playing
direct,
this
so I
thing.
can't play it. And that's what this game has been since the start, IMO. It's just been play what's easy and effective, and that's what's meta.
That's why you never hear about people that just made this thing and are really good at it, whether it's meta or not. You never
Yeah.
hear about that anymore.
Yeah.
You heard about that a lot in Splatoon 1 from what I've heard.
For sure, for sure.
Like, there are people who'd be known, like Tetsu, for example. He was
Tetsu,
known as a
yeah.
good bamboo player. Like, you would be a good leader player for, like you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. You know? And it's gonna be the same with Machine. Once Machine becomes remotely difficult to play against a weapon, like, let's
It's
say
gonna get
dualies get a crazy speed buff, and then now that, like, Machine can't take them out as easily, then now no one's gonna play Machine anymore. That's just how it works. If it's remotely difficult, stop it. Nobody does it. That's why people played Blaster, that's why people played Inkjet and farmed Inkjet, because it was really easy to do. You just paint the map, you use Inkjet, it had stupidly big explosion radiuses, it was really good.
This baller just like went through part of the map.
Oh yeah, Toon with the nozzle noses, like he was the only one who really like did pretty well with H3. He played H3, he played L3, and then now, you know, H3 became pretty strong because it was a lot easier to play in this game because it got some buffs that made it easier.
Yeah. and then like Kyo with Blaster until like recently.
Yeah, until recently. Kyo just dropped it
But,
because
I mean,
it came too hard.
It makes sense because no, but it makes sense because it's just bad. It like against the meta right
Yeah,
now.
it's
It can't
just-
do anything.
Even though
It's-
technically, if you just direct everything forehead, it wouldn't be so bad. But the thing is, like, I think that's being unreasonable.
Yeah, that plus Baller.
So there's like there's a difference, right? There's a difference between a weapon being like
Mildly hard and people
then
not
being
playing it.
yeah like
And then a weapon
unreasonably
being
hard.
flat out- yeah, or being just flat out like unviable. Right now, like there's a difference, and I don't think people realize that difference.
And people are gonna be like, you can't criticize people for playing to win and playing the meta, but I do think it just makes the game stale. Like,
Yeah, it's boring after a while. That's why I always just kind of like fall off at the end of patches. Like I'll just play like less and less at the end. Like whenever like a certain patch and like a certain meta has gone on for a while, I'll just stop playing. I'll be like, this has gone on forever. It's getting boring as all hell. Like stop it. It's like this is boring as shit. Go away. It's like this meta is boring.
all right,
I don't
we'll
like it.
do one last game, Neppy, and then we'll call it there.
Okay.
Last one. But it's amazing how Pro can go from a weapon that was just memed on to a weapon that, you know, is top tier only because of one thing. It's, you know, Booyah Bomb invincibility. It's pretty easy to take advantage of and whatnot.
And main power.
And main power, yeah.
Like, if it was just Booyah Bomb, then Dynamo would be pretty strong too. Yeah, we didn't get a balance patch for February. We have to wait till mid of this month to get another balance patch. And I'm like, this meta is stale as fuck. Like, can we get on with it? I'm tired of K-Machine. I'm tired of, well, not K-Pro just yet, 'cause that's kind of a new one, but like, I'm tired of K-Machine. I'm tired of Condor. Like, Jesus. Are we doing this now? Okay.
Some of
Yeah,
those weird
so-
weapons that I thought like were good, like K52, I think was pretty good. I just couldn't like deal with the RNG, but I know people like Urza played around with it a little bit. Like I think I could see K52 being good. It's got pretty good booyah.
Yeah.
It's pretty cheap booyah. It's fine.
But
Like,
you don't like shooters with RNG.
I don't, but with people who can bear it, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. The thing is with the pseudo 2, like the 2-hit KO with with main power up, H3 has the same thing, and that's a more accurate weapon. In my opinion, just a flat out better weapon with a better kit. I mean, yeah, Booyah is strong, but armor's stronger. At least to me. Like, I feel like the same thing could be achieved with H3. And it'd have the same effect. Yeah, Urza was feeling good about K52 and switched to K-Pro. I mean, yeah, like, if K-Pro's better, you may as well go with
Yeah,
it.
he switched to K-Pro, yeah, because K-Pro is better. But I mean, does it make 52 obsolete? I don't think so. I mean, it paints better than Pro. It kills faster than Pro, so it has merits.
H3 is harder to use, yeah, but it's also, it can be perfectly accurate if you can aim. Yeah, but there was also that time when H3 was also meta, and everybody used that.
But they used it
Well,
to
a lot of
farm
people use
armor. That was it. You just mashed ZR in the back of the map to paint for armor, and that's it. That's all you had to do.
I
Once you got
guess.
armor, you can rush people, and you know, even if you missed once, the armor would at least be enough of a buffer to where you can maybe aim the second shot and be fine. Like,
Yeah. Thing is, now, it has a pseudo Oko, so you could do the same thing. Or
yeah,
like so you could literally do the same thing, except if you miss a shot, you'll most likely kill them still anyway. And it can paint better. Like it just flat out just paints better. H3 is a better painting weapon than Pro. And also H3, at least to me, H3 is not gear dependent.
it really isn't. Yeah,
Besides like the main power, like I was saying. While Pro, Pro eats your ink tank up quick, so you might want to run like main saver and stuff. Why didn't that charger just get on the grate?
See what I mean? X-Flash.
I've literally like never used this thing before, and I just got a triple with it. What the hell? Frontline X-Flash.
Yeah. And a lot of the meta right now is spamming invincibilities. Pseudo-invincibilities, but still invincibilities nonetheless.
I wish invincibilities were in this game. I'm just kidding. Yeah, sure, I miss things like Kraken and Bubbler, but dear God. No, not. No.
I can't reach. At least from what I've been noticing. I mean, Fuzzy called the meta right now goats, and I agree.
Yeah.
The
And
one
honestly,
denies it, I agree. I think it's
after
goats.
Fuzzy said that, a lot of people started to agree with him. And like, I can't believe he's finally said something that's like somewhat agreeable.
Fuzzy to me has always been weird because he said things that I agree with and he said things I heavy disagree with, but at least I think he says insightful things half of the amount of times.
Sometimes.
So
Yeah, I was gonna say he says some like insightful, like you said.
but I would rather take Fuzzy's word than FLC any day of the week.
Yeah, me too, honestly. Like FLC, I'm like, your opinions are heavily opinionated. Like honestly, I feel like what you think of FLC is what honestly most of the community thinks of the one. No, I'm like that's not even a joke. I'm being serious. Like I'm not even like joking with that because like a lot of the times I see his tier list being posted in other servers.
Other servers and people
Yeah, and
being
they're like, and people are like, why is he making a tier list? And why is this place here? Why is this place here? Why is this here? This is here. And everybody calls him like opinionated and whatever.
Sky, and this goes back to why I think Splatoon 1 is still a better game to this day, is that stuff like Bubbler, you had to be physically next to the person, and you could shoot Bubble, and you could push people away, and then they couldn't touch you. In this game, you can get hit by armor literally from anywhere on the map. They have invincibility frames, so even if you do shoot them first, they can tank through it with invincibility frames, and you'll die. It's not even your fault, it's just the game taking forever to remove the armor. With Kraken, you can juke it, you can shoot it to keep it locked, you can do so many things with it. Like, I didn't think Bubbler and Kraken were bad. I didn't think they were, like, terrible balanced specials once this game came out. Once this game came out, I was like, yeah, these specials are actually pretty balanced compared to this game. Because now you have stuff like Baller, where if you pop it and it has a clam, it gets a free throw. If you don't pop it, then that's free map control, and you might get hit by it, so you have to stand away, and then that gives them time to pick up the clam anyway, most likely. Like, I think clam is just, I mean, Baller is just not as balanced. I think Baller is just actively bad game design.
Yeah. Like
When Inkjet was meta, I had this problem, where an Inkjet with the Super Clam would pop Inkjet next to the goal. If you killed the Inkjet, his Super Clam would drop, his teammate can pick it up and score. If you didn't kill the Inkjet, then you had an Inkjet on like destroying your team. Like, no matter what you did, you were screwed. Because like that Inkjet can grab a Clam from mid and then fly over with like gaps and stuff with his Inkjet. It was dumb. I didn't like it. Like, this game is just worse IMO in terms of special balance. People think it's better, I don't see how, but
like with Kraken, for example.
then you have Stingray when it was popular. Like, I don't see like how that's good game design either. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah,
A lot of the
I was gonna
choices in
say,
this game I think are bad game design.
I was gonna say, a lot of people are complaining about things that made you invincible, while in Splat 1, you could, or like in Splat 1, people are complaining about things that made you invincible. This game, you have a fucking death laser that shoots across the whole map, and it lasts for like 10 seconds.
Goes through walls,
Yeah.
can heat seek you basically.
And people will say, yeah, like Killer Whale's the same thing but wider. Yeah, Killer Whale, you couldn't fucking move it. Like, that's such a better trade-off in this game compared to Killer Whale.
I think the map designs in Splatoon 1 were better, they were more creative, they were more innovative, they encouraged different play styles. I think Splatoon 1 was just a better designed game.
Yeah, and then this game, a lot of the maps are just like, here, have some random-ass geometry. That doesn't
Yeah.
need to be here.
I think okay, and I always tell this to one. I think Splatoon 2 is a better casual game. I think Splatoon 1 is a better, more well-rounded competitive game. And people are like, what about QRSJ? Well, that's because people never learned how to play against QRSJ. You literally just watch for jumps and you punished it. If you watched any top Japanese players, you would see that they would watch for jumps and people only jumped in when it was safe. And that's what all stealth jump was used for, not for the cheese that we saw in the West. That's because people didn't, like, ever learn it, no matter how many times it happened.
Yeah, and also, like, yeah, you're saying, like, you'd never want to see Zuka ever again. Yeah, I mean, yeah, but Zuka also required a hell of a lot of aim.
Yeah. And the weapon that was
'Cause that
popular
shot was-
with it was T-Tank, and it took forever to get Zuka. If you died with it, you lost 75% of the Zuka. Low-tier weapons that had light Zukas were low-tier, so I think it was fairly balanced in that aspect. You sacrificed having a good weapon for an easier-to-get special. I think the game was better. Granted, I think there were some dumb things, like CRB being Light Kraken. But otherwise, I think the game was fine. It could just use some minor adjustments. Boom, bada bing, we have a better Splatoon game. IMO.
I feel like they should re-add the special depletion rates, like light, medium, heavy,
Yeah, I think so too.
instead of it having just be one set value for all weapons. Because some weapons benefit it a lot more than others.
Splashdown is pretty garbage by itself, but you can jump in with it for free because you can't die in mid jump with Splashdown. I don't think. Maybe you can. I don't know.
No, you can't.
So
once you
that's
jump.
literally a free jump you can get in, and it can kill people, and it can paint. It's way better than self jump, and you know with Splashdown you save so much of it. So it's like, who thought this game was better?
Yeah, but like the thing is, Coconut, with Hydra being light bubble, it just like E-liter was used so much more, and E-liter to me was just a bit like a flat out counter to Hydra
Mm-hmm.
in Splat 1. So you never saw Hydra. So that light bubble didn't really matter.
And again,
So
you
you
can
never
push it
really
away.
saw
Like
it.
if the Hydra pop a bubble, leader shot it, it would go flying halfway across the map.
I mean, yeah. I understand that you like it more, but
Mhm.
it's just like you never saw it
Yeah.
over E-liter. At least I never saw it over E-liter. Because to me, E-liter just kind of flat out countered it. I miss Chargers being popular too.
Yeah.
I mean, not in Splatoon 1, or sorry, not in Splatoon 2, because in Splatoon 2, when Chargers were popular, it was because of Stingray. In Splat 1, Chargers were popular because of Damage Up.
Yeah, I think the
Yeah, I feel
game
like
just
that
needs
was-
some tweaking.
And honestly, I feel like that was a lot better, because that required aim, unlike Ray,
Yeah.
if I'm going to be honest.
Oh. Oh, shit. It's okay. I don't blame you if you like the game better. You do you. I just think that Splatoon 1 is better, but obviously that's just an
Oh.
opinion, and I'm just being overly exaggerative. I think it's fine if you like this game.
I feel like Splat 2 bet. Oh, okay. Sorry. Kind of misunderstood that.
I mean, no, Coconut, you are clearly a sinful person. Blasphemy! How dare you go against Splatoon? I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's understandable if you like Splat 2 better. That's the majority.
Yeah.
Majority
Majority
think
thinks
that
so. I'm in the
Splat 2 is
minority,
better,
but I'm always a contrarian, so who cares?
It's me too, honestly. I'm just like, I am always like, honestly, I like most of the time in a game, especially like a shooter.
Uh-huh.
If that shooter gets a sequel, I will most likely like the original more than the sequel.
Facts. Okay.
If you don't play the meta,
Yeah, it does, honestly. It's like a lot of top players are like, don't play this low tier trash. Just
what
play
are
like
you,
Keishin or
low tier peasant?
They're just
Get
like,
out
just
of
play-
my sight.
They're just like, play Keishi and you can get like instant Div 2. It's like you're in Div 6, yeah, just stop playing that Neo Sploosh and play Keishi and boom, instant Div 2.
Bada bing, bada boom. You are a
That's
top player now.
Skedaddle Skedoodle. I just kind of.
Speaking of Kiver, I remember when Kiver was a lot more humble. He's changed.
I also remember when Kiver told the one to shut the fuck up on stream. That was so funny.
Oh yeah, US. Yeah, everyone was like,
US
yeah.
team comps? Ha ha
Yeah.
ha! How lowly
then-
peasants dare run anything that's not the meta.
And then I remember the whole drama with Astro and being like, Vanilla Jet's good.
and then everyone in +1 was like, "Is this
And then
person exist?"
And everybody, like, attacked him.
Yeah.
I kind of feel bad for him. But at the same time, I'm just like, you realize everyone's gonna disagree with you, right? What were you expecting? Like, what were you expecting to happen?
But yeah.
Yeah, they did get that far with their skills and choices of kits. They probably deserve more respect, but it's just the majority. The majority, like, this is the internet. People still tear you apart for any choice that you do.
I don't think any comps are egregiously or shockingly bad as people make them out to be. I think they're not the
They're not.
best, but they're acceptable. I think they're fine. I think
Vanilla Check good.
I think if you use what these
Sure,
weapons
yeah.
bring, maybe they'll be fine. I think it's nothing horrible. They're winnable, is what I'm trying to get to. You can win with those comps just fine.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
Yeah.
Ink Sigma is not Ghost Gaming. I mean, is not. Yeah, it's not Ghost Gaming. Ink Sigma is not. Whatever the STDX-esque pickup was. I don't know what name they went under. It was like
Shoot.
Tic Tac Power and some other people.
Oh yeah, they went like undecided.
Yeah, yeah, they're not those teams. So I mean, if they were those teams and around those comps, then yeah, people would be praising them. People would say that's the best comp on the planet. Like, I don't know. I think they're fine. I think they're not horribly wrong. So
Yeah, they're fine. It's just like because you're not a top team, you're gonna get dissected and like
yeah, exactly.
you're gonna get ridiculed by the internet because you're not a top player.
Mhm. But
It's like play this weapon and you're not a top player, you're gonna get ridiculed, just no matter what. And it sucks, honestly.
besides Vanilla Jet, I think Vanilla Jet is just no. But
Yeah, I feel like custom jets just
Custom Jet is just straight up better. Yeah, but I think stuff like Dynamo has a place.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I play Dynamo, so that's what I should use it.
anyways, I think we should wrap this up.
Thought their team name was what? It might have been.
Oh,
I don't remember.
Okay.
I'm fairly sure it was undecided. Or no, I'm thinking of Invitational.
Whatever it was, you know what I'm talking about. It was just that team,
their,
yeah.
their team name was what? Yeah, their team name was what? You're right. I was thinking of Invitational. My bad.
Alright, well, I'm gonna stop here.
That's the tournament that I actually watched.
Goodbye, chat. We had a nice 2-hour rant.
Yeah. Goodbye, stream. That was
Goodbye,
almost 3
stream.
hours, actually.
Yeah. Goodbye.
about 3 hours.
Love you all. Thanks
Yeah.
for listening to us talk about
Bye,
whatever.
stream.